Yeah, I think we're ready.
Guys,
Here she comes.
where, that's what he's in.
All right, good evening. The time is 6:30. I'd like to call the council meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please, Stacy?
Ms. Ray?
Here.
Mr. Bononis?
Here.
Mr. Carochi?
Here.
Ms. Altrap-Cordero? Here. Ms. De Leon? Here. Also present, acting Township Manager Jay Finnegan. Director of Finance Patty Coronia. Township Solicitor Steve Azuzian. Township Engineer Andrew Youssef. And Tyler Mitch, Zoning Officer. And myself, Stacy Organizer.
All right, can we please rise for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in standing for a moment of silence. Earlier this afternoon, 5 law enforcement officers were assaulted and 3 were murdered. This happened in Pennsylvania, York County, Cordores Township. It was a heinous act of crime. We have a number of police officers who are here today because of the climate that's going on in the world. And I would like you to take a moment to recognize those families of the 3 fallen officers, as well as the other 2 officers who were injured here in Pennsylvania. So if you take a moment, please. Thank you.
All right, so we did not need an executive session before our meeting tonight, so we have nothing to discuss there. If you had your agenda printed out before, I could make note to pick up a new copy. There were 2 items that were added on Monday, I believe. So those are items 5J and 5K regarding local share account grants. For public comment procedure, we open up the meeting with a public comment for agenda item only. It's a 3-minute limit per person. You come up to the podium in the center and announce your name and address council with your comments. We also have a second public comment period towards the end of the meeting where you can speak on agenda or non-agenda items, and it's the same process with the 3-minute limit. So I'll start by asking if anybody would like to have public comment.
Can you reprimand this man for putting on township properties political signs, Jay? You tell him it's not appropriate?
Are you finished?
Jay?
I'm not allowed to put political signs on township property at this point in the calendar.
Not like that, at any point in the calendar.
I haven't put any signs out.
Excuse me?
I haven't put any signs out, and all signs that were put out were within the time frame in legal places, and they were removed accordingly. But the accusations, I'm not sure where this is coming from, what this is related to at this
I
point.
just saw you walking through the parking lot putting up a sign. What I saw.
I'm giving them to people who support me in this community, which is surprising to you considering nobody supports you anymore. Can I have my 3 minutes, please?
Yes.
Anything you want, Sean.
Okay, I would like to express my concern. My name is Chad Heimbecker. I would like to express my concerns with agendas items 5F and G as referenced on the agenda. As a father of 2, I want our community to feel safe, and I support necessary training of our officers and enforcement of our laws and regulations to that effect. And I do feel safe living here, and I thank our law enforcement officers for their professionalism and dedication to all of us. It was nice to meet many of you at the National Night Out, and I can sense your commitment and passion to do good and help others. It was a noble endeavor, and I appreciate you and respect you for that. As a child of the Lehigh Valley, I also welcome people into our community who want to make a better life for themselves and their families, who seek to become active and contributing members, and who bring with them a diversity of languages, cultures, beliefs, and food. However, inviting armed and masked ICE agents who seek to apprehend individuals, oftentimes violently and indiscriminately, is the opposite of feeling safe and welcoming. Rather than encouraging ICE activity here at home, which I feel threatens and encroaches on our constitutional Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable search and seizures, I would like to see our local law enforcement serve and protect our community. I would request that any actions put forth by council relating to ICE mandate our police department to require identification from any agents operating in our township, ensuring they are legitimate officers, to monitor their locations and actions, and to intervene on behalf of our residents to ensure any agents are held accountable to the highest standards of behavior and ethics. Furthermore, I would propose enacting a resolution similar to California Senate Bill 627 and 805, which I have here, which ban local, out-of-state, and federal law enforcement officers from wearing face coverings, as well as require officers to be readily identifiable. We cannot have trust without transparency, and masked agents betray that trust and invite abuse and criminal behavior from people impersonating an officer. I want to be clear, I do not support mass deportation. I do not support tearing families apart. I do not support excessive use of force. I do not support targeted enforcement or harassment of individuals based on the color of their skin or the language they speak. I do not support allowing masked law enforcement with no identification or accountability for their actions. This is our home, not a war zone. This is a peaceful community, not a crime scene. The overwhelming majority of people here from other countries, people I know and have worked with, are not criminal, illegal aliens. They are good, honest, hardworking, law-abiding, kind, and family-oriented people, and are not here committing violent crime. Certainly not a danger or threat to our community, as they're being portrayed by some. What makes America great, as well as our Commonwealth and the Lehigh Valley, is how we are the intersection, a keystone of the world and our nation, a melting pot of ideas and individuals who share a common ideal of liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Sir, you're a goddamn liar. Here's why. Charlie Kirkland, the human parasite who spewed hateful and divisive rhetoric, which has directly harmed and people is grifting Turning Point USA as a propaganda outlet, spewing garbage, disinformation, promoting a grotesque version of patriotism to right-wing extremists, white supremacists, and Christian nationalists who see them not like them. Sir, tell the truth as to who you are. It's your post online.
Why don't you give us a finger? Why don't you give us a finger again, Chuck?
You lying clown.
Can I call for order, please?
Why do you call for order when your propaganda is standing up there lying to the public? And this guy, why don't you call him out and call him what he is? It's his social media post that's out there that creates the rhetoric that requires us to have all these police officers here, that requires me to ask our township manager, no, I'm not out of order. You're out of order because you can't control a damn meeting. You haven't for a year.
Because you don't stop talking.
Because you're an idiot and you can't control a meeting.
You are
You
inconsiderate.
can't control a meeting.
Okay.
You're incompetent. And your incompetence leads to death like those 5 officers today.
And you should be charged with disorderly conduct right now.
Okay,
And you,
call for
and that
recess
guy.
if you don't stop talking.
Call a recess, I'm going to care. I'll stay here till 4 in the morning because I fight for the residents and their
I'm going
safety.
to ask for an apology to never say that I had anything to do with anybody's criminal activity, especially whatever happened to the police officer someplace else
Your
in the
rhetoric,
state.
your divisive rhetoric.
So,
When you accuse people and you weaponize your lunatics
if you're
that
gonna
come after me and
accuse
threaten
me,
me.
if you're gonna accuse me of having any part of that, I think you need to restate yourself.
I'm not going to restate myself because
Okay,
you're
well,
lying.
play that back,
You're a lying
because that's
fool.
defamation. If you
You're
say
a
that
lying
I-
fool.
if you say-
You're a lying fool.
If you say that I had
are
anything
even
to do
sued
with
for a
that.
defamation lawsuit
Exactly.
because you lied about me.
No,
You started
you
this
don't-
nonsense
you
with
don't
people.
hear
You
what
weaponized that guy to come after me. That's what you do.
You don't
That's what you
hear
do with my
what people
family.
say.
You're a disgusting, loathsome person. You're an embarrassment.
So again, for the community's benefit, I have nothing to do with any other criminal activity in the state against police officers or anything else, and I demand that people who have alleged that apologize
I
because
won't
they have no
apologize
proof
to you
and
for
they
a
don't.
damn thing.
And they
These
have.
divisive
they
rhetoric creates
knowingly
the atmosphere that this
said
stuff
false
happens in.
statements.
That's
That's
why.
my statement.
She won't apologize for calling us anti-Semitic.
Yeah, how about
Knowingly
anti-Semitic?
accuse me
You
of
called me
shooting
anti-Semitic, you didn't
someone.
apologize for that, did you?
That's exactly what you just
Yeah.
said. that I shot somebody.
I didn't say you shot somebody.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't.
We'll play back the video.
I didn't say you shot, and if I did, I didn't say that.
Well, you should
Okay,
apologize.
then you didn't
We
say it.
are having public comment now, believe it or not, so if anybody.
You create the atmosphere that causes these things to happen.
You are
You
more
called
than
us
welcome to
anti-Semitic
speak
2 meetings
here.
ago.
And
2
we
meetings
will
ago, we
talk
were called
over this
anti-Semitic,
argument.
never received an apology. I don't know what she wants an apology for.
Tom, be quiet.
You don't accuse people of shooting
You
other
create
people.
the atmosphere that causes shootings, is what I
Now,
said.
public comment, can you?
That's not what you
You
said.
hear what you want to hear because your own world,
We'll play it back.
whatever.
Like that. Donna, welcome.
Sorry for
Nice to
that.
see you.
Donna Louder. I want to comment on the 5-year plan, the capital improvement plan. And let me start by saying, I understand that there are monies already allocated for that, but this 5-year plan goes out till 2030. The funding for our capital plan is primarily from the landfill. It's $1.25 million is what our capital budget is. And with the landfill closing in 2028, how are we going to bring up more money? How are we going to create that money? Has anybody thought about that? Here's number 2. With the landfill owning a very large portion of the township property, once that closes, will they ask to reassess the property because it again has no more industrial value? So we're going to be losing property tax there. And right now, I believe the landfill's paying $40,000 in property tax. A strip mall pays $14,000 in property tax. So we're gonna have to make that up as well. These are all things that affect the budget. These are all things that are gonna affect that 5-year plan. Part of it is large transfer taxes when there's industry, things being built. Employees leaving the township, that affects the budget as well. Again, is the landfill gonna get reassessed? Is the property gonna be equivalent to open space and we're not gonna get any kind of value from it? Just asking what the plan is to make up that money, because this plan goes out 5 years. You're looking at $1.25 million that you're gonna need to come up with in 2029. Just asking.
They have no plan, they're going to tax everyone, is what they're going to do.
They don't.
That's what I'm afraid of.
They don't. That's right. The landfill's supposed to close in 2028. They don't know. People have God-given intelligence. They get supplemental
comment.
artificial intelligence. But these 3 are what I call DI. It's called donkey intelligence. It's really.
I'd just like to call for a point of order.
Yes, and we are still on public comment. If somebody else would like to come up.
Hi, Stacy Mizensky, Lower Saucon Township. I would like to comment on the landfill closure. However, you did not provide any material, so I don't know what your plans are this evening. As of late August this year, Pennsylvania state representatives were examining a proposal that would prohibit law enforcement agencies in Pennsylvania from signing a 287G agreement and terminate any existing partnerships between local law enforcement agencies and immigration enforcement. May I remind this council that 2 meetings prior to this, Mr. Bonones said, and I quote, "I would rather have our police resources devoted to protecting break-ins, robbers, and speeders, and things like that than worrying about a sign that is announcing someone's private property. I think this is a better use of our police resources than an investigation." End quote. With that statement in mind, it sounds as though our resources are stretched pretty thin. And now you want to propose that our police have more work and risk put upon their daily tasks by making them partner with federal agencies to perform immigration arrests while performing their routine duties. 1 week, you tell us you don't want police resources used for local investigations. And this week, you are suggesting we partner with federal jurisdiction. Make up your mind. 287G has no place in Lower Saucon Township when state representatives themselves don't want Pennsylvania State Police to participate. Thank you.
Thank Thank you. Do we have other comment? Okay, seeing none. We will move on to presentations, and tonight we are introducing our new junior council members for the 2025-2026 school year. We've had several students that expressed interest this year in participating in the program for a junior council person, and they are being recommended to council for appointment to various boards. So I'll start with the motion, and then we'll do some introductions of the students. I will make the motion to approve the following Lower Saucon resident students as junior council persons for the 2025-2026 school year. Zachary Benonis, Lydia Thacker to our council board, Noah and Jameson Hubert, and Violet Whitney to the Parks and Recreation Board. So I'd like to give a brief introduction to each of the 5 students. Since we have 5 students, I was going to ask each council member if they would like to introduce one, and I will ask Jason if he would like to introduce his son.
No, I think you should do it.
Okay.
I know you don't want to, but I think you should do it.
I just want to share the talking.
Saying words you can't pronounce, I'll help.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to introduce one as well. So Zachary Benonis. Zachary is a senior at Saucon Valley High School, and this will be his second year in the junior council program, previously serving on Township Council. Zachary's interest in becoming a junior council member stems from when his father was elected to Township Council, and he is also interested in politics. Zachary is a member of the Saucon Valley High School baseball program, and his favorite subject in school is anything relating to history. He also participates in the following at the high school: Model UN, Global Scholars, Future Business Leaders of America, and the National Honor Society. And in his spare time, Zachary's favorite hobby is fishing. So welcome, Zachary. Next, we have Nithya Becker. Tom, do you want to do an intro? Okay, I'm going to ask Victoria, would you like to read one?
Sure. You want me to do Nitya?
Yeah, do Nithya.
All right.
Sure.
Nitya is a senior at Saucon Valley High School, and this will be her 4th and final year as a junior council member. She first heard about the program through a friend who shared their positive experience with her. She participated for 1 year in planning commission and 3 years in council meetings. Her favorite subject is math, and she is interested in becoming an engineer. Nitya also tutors a variety of subjects at a local tutoring center. She is a member of the following clubs at Saucon Valley: Debate Team, Model UN, National Honor Society, and Leo Club, and serves as the president of Future Business Leaders of America and treasurer of Student Government Association. In her free time, she enjoys spending time with her friends and participating in school events. Thank you, Nitya.
Thank you. And next are the 3 members for our Parks and Recreation Board. First is Jameson Hubert. Priscilla, do you want to read this one?
Sure. Jameson is a junior at Saucon Valley High School. She was introduced to the junior program, council program, because both of her brothers have been active members for a few years. She is very passionate about being involved in her community, especially through communication and collaboration. Jamie is a member of the National Honor Society, and her favorite subject is science and biology. Outside of school, she spends a large majority of her time training gymnastics and plans to pursue the sport in college. She considers herself to be a very crafty person and enjoys art as well as games and puzzles.
All right, thank you. I'll read the next one. It's Noah Hubert. So Noah is a junior at Saucon Valley High School and has lived in the township his whole life. He became interested in the Lower Saucon Township Junior Council program after learning about it from his brother Cole, who had a good experience. This will be Noah's second year in the program, serving on the Parks and Recreation Board, and he has enjoyed learning how things work behind the scenes. He is a member of the National Honor Society and Future Business Leaders of America at Saucon Valley High School. He also participates in baseball at school and shares that the team has been very successful over the past few years. His favorite subject is math, and his future goals are to attend a four-year college majoring in engineering. Noah enjoys hunting and fishing and plays on a travel baseball team as well. So welcome, Noah. Victoria, do you want to do the last one, Violet? Save my voice.
Sure.
Thanks.
Violet initially became interested in serving as a junior council person to become more involved in her community. This will be her second year in the program, serving on the Parks and Recreation Board. She is an active member of the debate team, Model UN, National Honor Society, and Future Business Leaders of America. In addition to her school activities, Violet loves to run, read, and play the piano. Each week, she visits Phoebe Allentown to share her piano talent with the residents. She is also involved in archival and media work with the Hellertown Historical Society. Violet is looking forward to making a positive difference in her community. Thank you, Violet.
All right, thank you all. So I did make the motion, but I needed a second. I don't think I got a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Can we have a roll call?
Ms. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Carochi?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
I could just add a comment to what was said. We received a message from Sam Van Norman. Sam was a prior junior council participant for a number of years, and unfortunately he's not able to participate this year because of his job schedule. And we sent an email in to Stacy Werkheiser, and part of the email says the following. The program is an awesome experience, and I truly miss it. P.S. I had my Eagle Scout board review last night, and they mentioned how being a junior councilman is very important and beneficial, and I totally agree. So I hope everyone gets a similar experience from this process.
So I thank all of you for volunteering to do this and participating. Should be, hopefully it will be rewarding.
Laura, may I say something?
Sure.
She's gonna take credit for the whole program.
I'd just like to say that a few years back, when I was active with the Saucon Valley Partnership,
There.
I just forgot his name. Oh my gosh, the president, anyway.
Joe Biden was
I'm sorry, I can't think of his name.
It's Joe Biden, he's the same member as you.
Anyway, we were on the Saucon Valley Partnership, and he read in his Borough magazine about this junior program, and we all thought it was a wonderful idea, so we took it back to Hellertown Council, and took it back to Lower Saucon Council, and this program was started. And I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name. So I'm very proud to see these students have a little edge on other people by being part of this program, because that's going to look outstanding on your resume compared to others. So, but what I would like is to talk about this at school and see if we can find somebody that's interested in the EAC, because for some reason, nobody's interested in the
I
EAC.
wonder why.
So,
They throw people off.
if we
Because these kids
could-
get harassed by the freaks they get put on these committees, that's why.
If we could, maybe Jay, if we could ask, maybe like do another round of interest, and see if anybody's interested in the EAC, we'll try it one more time. So that's what I would like to see happen.
The high school just put it out on their message board or communication yesterday.
Oh, great, so I think
I would tell from past experience with the EAC that if you're pro landfill expansion, they will throw you off, like they threw me off and they threw Mrs. Spurk off.
Tom,
So I would caution students on that.
untrue comments.
it was
Thank
near
you and
Bronco.
welcome, and we look forward to seeing you at our meetings and participating.
The same with Bronco, so I'm sorry for forgetting that. But anyway.
Thank you all for serving and coming aboard. We really appreciate it.
All right. Picture in the room here, Stacy, or you ready to?
We can do one in here, or I can take it outside. It's up to you.
Okay, I didn't know if you want me to move on, keep going.
We can do it here with everybody. if you want. And then we'll go outside. Stand there. Yeah, that's it. Okay, good. Thank you.
Justin, would you like a picture with your son for holding the bombshell?
I have a lot of pictures of my son, but thank you.
Okay. Next item is 4A. This is Resolution 62, 2025, Steel Club Land Development Phase 2 Sewage Facilities Planning Module. We had a resolution as an attachment for the Steel Club Land Development Phase 2 Planning Module. This has been completed for us to take action on. I would make the motion to approve Resolution 62, 2025, approving the Steel Club Land Development Phase 2 Sewage Facilities Planning Module. This approval is contingent on Steel Land LLC providing a signed wastewater treatment plant allocation agreement as outlined in the letter agreement dated June 19th, 2024. Can I have a second?
Second.
I have some questions.
There's your questions.
Jay, who put this on the agenda?
Hanover Engineering.
When? Do you recall when?
Last Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. To our solicitor, the agreement was dated June 19th of 2024. Why didn't this come before council in June or July of 2024?
I'm not sure what you're asking, but there was a letter agreement that was dated.
No, if you're not sure what I'm asking, I'm going to ask it again, because it was a very clear and concise question.
Steve, can you just?
Don't interrupt me, I'm talking. Why
I
don't you
can't hear
interrupt
what
me?
he's saying because he's leaning
Why don't you
back.
interrupt me?
That's all.
Again, it says that the letter agreement dated June 19th of 2024. You see that, right?
I do.
Okay. Now here's the question. Why didn't this agreement dated June 19th, 2024, this is not the confusing part, this is the simple part. Why didn't it come before council in June of 2024 or July of 2024 or August of 2024? Do you understand the question?
Well, your question doesn't make any sense.
Okay, just
Because,
tell me why.
yeah, the letter was part of the process in which the applicant received approval to go ahead and record the plans.
Right.
So when they recorded the plans, they still had outstanding obligations.
Mm-hmm.
They were permitted to record the plan, subject to this letter agreement where they would provide a tri-party agreement, which addressed, among other things, sewer allocation. They signed that agreement, and then they did not go ahead and, even to date, have not provided the signed agreement. Part of the agreement, based on the letter agreement, was that if they don't provide the agreement, they can't move forward with building permits for particular parcels. That still hasn't been provided. You've been provided updates with regard to that. The developer then filed a lawsuit. The township then responded. The township was then successful at a very early stage, at the preliminary objection stage. Then the developer took an appeal and is currently before the court on appeal.
So current litigation. The other thing, so you're saying nothing has changed. All these contingencies that you just went through that were outstanding as of June 19th of 2024 are still outstanding.
Well, no, there's only one outstanding.
Well, how many were outstanding in June of 2024?
One.
Okay, and you're saying one is still outstanding?
Yes.
And it's the same one?
It's the same, that there's no sewer agreement that's been signed.
Okay, so if there was no sewer agreement signed on June 19th of 2024, and there's no sewer agreement signed today, why didn't this come before council in July, August, or September of 2024? Yeah, if you can. I'm just curious. I don't know. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody. Steve gets very defensive. I don't know why, but...
Because as part of the continuing development process, the sewage facility planning module has to be filed with the DEP. That's a pretty arduous process, and the engineer, this is the engineer and the attorney representing the developer, they just had finished that part of the project, and this would be the step the time that it would come before it, would be uncommon to have this done at the point where the approval happened and the agreements were executed. It's just part of the normal.
But I don't understand why the agreement was dated June 19th of 2024. What is outstanding then is still outstanding now. And yet we're doing this now, 18 months later, instead of then.
Those are two separate things, and that's what I think, that's why, when I said in the beginning, your question didn't make any sense. There's the sewer allocation issue, which is dated from, still outstanding for an extended period of time. And then there's a separate issue with regard to the resolution for the module.
Okay. So if there's current litigation on this, why are we considering it tonight?
If there's current litigation.
Right, I mean, should we let the litigation play out?
you could-
What's the rush to do this tonight? I don't understand.
It's not our rush, it's not my rush.
When he said Hanover Engineering, put it on the Hanover Engineering, there are engineers, is that correct, Jay?
But there's two separate issues.
No, hold on, I asked a question. I said, what's the rush to do this tonight? And you said there's no rush on our part, but Jay said Hanover Engineering is the one that put it on the agenda. Well, they put it on the agenda, and there are engineers. So our engineers put it on the agenda. So when I say what's the rush?
This in no way gives them approval to continue until that last piece is done, but this now goes to the DEP to review, so at this point, it's just part of the continuing review process.
Okay, explain one more time why we couldn't have done this in July or August of 2022.
Because they didn't
I'm
have,
asking,
they didn't have this right until now.
They wouldn't have had it ready because that you don't do this until after you get approval and then you start with the modules with the DEP.
okay. All right, just seems very odd, we have to do this tonight, when it's been sitting around for over a year. And the agreement is, it's the same agreement that was drafted in June of 2024, isn't that correct?
Again, there's two separate things. There's the resolution.
But this is the same thing, the
No,
agreement.
let me finish. There's two things.
The resolution for the plan,
Has nothing to do, well, because it's the same project, of course, has something to do with it. But the resolution for plan revision for new land development, for the DEP, the form that's before you in the resolution, is separate and apart from the allocation agreement. Those are two separate things.
okay, but the contingency in the allocation agreement still hasn't been met, is that correct?
And from our standpoint, we would not issue a building permit for a particular parcel, meaning a particular lot, until the allocation agreement is signed. That doesn't mean they can't go forward with the resolution with DEP.
And why is the allocation agreement not signed? So who are parties to the allocation agreement?
It has never been presented to us to sign, but the three parties are Lower Saucon, City of Bethlehem, and Hellertown Borough. One of the issues is,
And then, so it's four parties, no? They don't sign.
If we could speak,
Sure, go ahead. Well, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt Jay. I'm sorry.
So there's an allocation agreement that requires the City of Bethlehem, Hellertown Borough, and Lower Saucon Township to execute, correct?
correct.
And you're saying that that allocation agreement has not been presented to Lower Saucon Township for
Correct.
approval?
We've never seen one signed by the City of Bethlehem or Hellertown Borough, ever.
Is there a requirement that all of those, that the Hellertown Borough and the City of Bethlehem sign that agreement?
Yes, because it then addresses the issue of the allocation. Because as you may know or may recall, and I'm sure you do, the property is in the development.
I know where it is.
Yeah, the development's in Lower Saucon, but it runs through the Hellertown Borough Authority system.
Right,
And then is addressed and serviced by the City of Bethlehem.
as Lower Saucon serviced by the City of Bethlehem as well.
I'm sorry?
As Lower Saucon is.
Correct, but this would allocate the,
Hellertown Borough's allocation.
Right.
I understand.
among other things, in the agreement, but that's the primary, one of the primary.
Mr. Preston here, maybe Mr. Preston can add some light to this.
Yes, and for the record, my name is Jim Preston, I represent a couple of things. So, this plan was approved with the project being within this township's public sewer service district, part of its Act 537 plan. That's how the project was approved. So it was approved for public sewer. When we went to apply for that, DEP said that there's an allocation agreement that they would like to have signed. That's the allocation agreement then. talking about.
But that allocation agreement wasn't part of the original approval. It wasn't.
It was not.
Wait,
I'm getting there.
so, okay.
There was never any condition for an allocation agreement. It never came up. No one will be able to show you any condition anywhere that references the allocation agreement.
So why, Steve, can you?
I drafted the allocation agreement. I drafted it because the EP said that they wanted to see this and we wanted to get it done. They gave me a copy of one that was used for another property and said this is what it should look like. So I drafted it. I made it so that it could be signed in counterparts and I sent it out. The city of Bethlehem signed it, returned it. I gave it to Lower Saucon. Your solicitor said, I think early, that it was never presented or something. It certainly was, but we were told that we're not signing it. Hold on, let me finish. Township will not sign this until everybody else signs it. That meant I now needed the Howardtown Borough Authority to sign it. Not a problem. So we went to the Howardtown Borough Authority. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The project is a phased project. This, on the table was phase 2. When we went to the Howardtown Borough Authority, they said, we will not sign this. We said, why won't you sign this? Because this has the allocation for all the phases, beginning to end, and unless and until you pay in cash for all of that, we won't sign this. How about just for phase 2, which is on the table? They said, we will sign for phase 2 if and when you pay for it and secure those improvements. We paid for phase 2. We secured those improvements. We've installed phase 2. The agreement that you're being told is necessary has nothing at all to do with us. We're not a party to the agreement. We have nothing to do
And
with
it was
it.
never a condition to your
It
original
was
approval.
never a condition of our approval.
So now the township's adding conditions onto the prior approval.
DEP
No wonder why you sued us.
DEP has said the department does not need an allocation agreement, like the one filed with the board on 5/6/25. That's the one that your solicitor submitted to the DEP on that day. They don't need it. They don't want it. They don't need it. So what did we do? Well, we appealed DEP's determination that we weren't in your sewer service district because we believe that we are. Your engineering outfit believes that we are. Everyone involved with the project believed that we were.
Except Steve.
Except for the solicitor.
I don't
Who just
know.
didn't tell us the truth.
But, so we appealed that.
Pardon me, that's not the case.
Now,
Not letting him speaking.
But
You'll
he
get your
just
chance.
missed the
You
first-
can respond when it's your turn.
Agreement, he just said.
Nobody elected you to anything.
That's not the
He
case.
said he gave you the agreement, you just
Not
told
signed by
us.
everyone. Not signed by everyone.
That's correct. I was told Lower Saucon will not sign it unless and until it's signed by everyone else. And again, if you follow the bouncing ball, Howardtown will never sign that agreement because we will never pay for all the sewer allocation at once because we can't. That's why you phase projects, because you eat the elephant one financial bite at a time. So,
Broke Howardtown trying to shake you down for money.
well,
Get
whatever,
money
we
up front, you're
can't,
not even anywhere close to getting
we
to the
can't
phase
get
of
that done.
effect.
So we have a project that's in your 537 bulk sewer district that's now on hold. We can't get anywhere with the township because your solicitor is portraying this as something that's a condition of our approval, which it never was. No one will ever be able to show you where that condition came from. It just doesn't
It came
exist.
from
I
the sale
drafted the
property.
agreement. It's not even a township agreement. So DEP has backed away from that. They don't need it. Now here's what happens. So and this is why we're here to see DEP,
Excuse me, did you say DEP no longer requires this agreement?
yeah, I'll read it to you.
Why do we require it, Steve?
Because you want me to answer now?
Yes. So that particular question.
Because at some point down the line, there's going to be an issue as to whose allocation this is and where it's coming from. If we don't have an agreement between all the parties that are involved, many years from now, when we're no longer here, there's going to be an issue as to, well, these properties are in Lower Saucon, and accordingly, Lower Saucon should be charged the allocation, and we'd be losing our allocation. That's why.
Well, doesn't make any sense at all. My question would be, what has the township done to get the agreement signed? What they're doing is, they're saying, Mr. Preston, when you can get this agreement signed, bring it to us, and we will then consider it. This agreement has nothing to do with us. It's a township agreement. What has your solicitor done to attempt to get the agreement signed with Howard Town and the city?
Nothing, in
I'm
fact,
gonna tell you-
let me tell you, no, in fact, one of the, nothing, exactly right, but it may not be nothing. One of the first things they did when hiring him, they gave him a waiver of all conflicts of interest with Hellertown. Steve, have you worked on this for Hellertown, or anybody in your firm worked on this and represent, on Hellertown's behalf? Hellertown Authority, anyone?
Listen, here's where it is.
Did you get that waiver? First, you got that waiver, right, of conflicts of interest with Hellertown? That was right when you were hired. These three gave it to you.
Here's where it is.
So you got a waiver to represent Hellertown, and now we want to answer the question whether he did any work for the Hellertown Board Authority or advised them in any way in this manner.
That's out of my bailiwick here, but I can tell you, you asked the question, does DEP need this agreement? They do not. So what happens
Do
is...
you agree with that, Steve?
No, well, maybe not, but that's not a.
No, I do agree with the simple statement, does DEP need that agreement? It's a simple
I
statement,
haven't
Steve.
seen what he's referring to, but more importantly.
It's in the agenda, right?
Let me finish what I was saying. So what we did was we appealed to DEP, and during the course of that appeal, the township intervened. Your solicitor dumped a whole bunch of documents into the appeal that weren't particularly germane, one of them being this application agreement. We had a conference with the judge. We agreed that it would be probably in everybody's best interest to settle this as follows. We would process a planning module as if it weren't in the sewer district and run that through the normal course while the appeal is pending. We're not going to waive or give that up. But while we're going through that appeal process, we would run this on a parallel track. And this would probably get us to the end sooner than the appeal would through the environmental hearing board, with all the discovery, exchange of documents, depositions, expert reports. Till we get done with that process, we all agree that it would be quicker to go this way and process this. So now, it's kind of shocking. It looks like this is moving along, and now there's a condition on the planning module approval that this condition is this agreement is still somehow stuck in there. This agreement. This agreement, this tri-party agreement, we're not a party to it. It has nothing to do with us. It's not, we got a plan approved, the plan's been approved, it was approved as if we were in a public sewer district. It's on the plans themselves, everything's on there. DEP dug their heels in, okay? So we appealed that, DEP is now backing down, but they want us to go through this route which we're going for. But somebody keeps sticking this superfluous, non-essential, unnecessary agreement into the gears.
Our solicitor?
Well, yeah, I heard it on the resolution, and it's now back in play. I can tell you,
How long have they
the
been up with
lady's
this?
name is Ann Consurat. She's the DEP attorney that handles this, and I did ask her directly whether that agreement was necessary. Hi, Jim. The department does not need an allocation agreement like the one filed with the board on 5/6/25. I attached it for reference. These kinds of agreements can look all kinds of ways, so I wanted to be sure we were talking about the same one. What she attached for reference is this, and that's what your solicitor dumped into the record. She doesn't need this. She doesn't need all this talk. This has nothing to do.
That's him trying to
The
convince the
township may need
DEP.
this, the township may want this, but they never made it a condition of our approval. We don't object to this, God bless you.
Right.
The city already signed it, so there's no problem with the destination.
Okay, so I want everybody to see that is a letter, and I'd appreciate a copy of that. That's on Good Susan and Associate letterhead, right?
What's the date of the letter?
This one?
Mhm.
This one's May, yeah, I know, but this is May 6, 2025.
Addressed to whom?
This is Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Environmental Hearing Board,
And what's the subject?
our appeal. This, when we
What's
appealed,
the title of it?
yeah, I'm gonna give you a copy of it. I'm gonna give you a
And
copy.
it's representing, in
Why don't you
that,
give it to, well,
he's
yeah.
representing Lower Saucon Township in that, right?
This was the intervention. This is how the township got
And who
involved.
instructed you to do that, Steve?
My recollection is there was a motion at a meeting.
When?
When?
Oh, yeah.
We instructed you to harass this developer and put this condition that was never part of a prior approval. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that my recollection is there was a meeting where there was a motion to protect the township's interests in the DEP file.
Mr. Preston?
You can't have, I'll be with you.
Yeah, don't, okay. I have another question for you. But Steve, it's your recommendation tonight that we vote yes and do this agreement?
When you say this agreement with regard to the resolution?
Yeah, the resolution.
Yes.
That's your recommendation.
Right, but do something.
After all these months,
And you're missing the point, but do something to protect the record with regard to the allocation agreement. And my suggestion would be, if we're inclined to do this, rather than having it, and I asked Laura who made the motion, rather than having it contingent with the resolution being contingent on the allocation agreement, the other option might be to do a motion to sign the resolution, but send something to the DEP to confirm and acknowledge that this allocation agreement remains outstanding. I'm not standing in the way of this resolution. I'm not suggesting we should stand in the way of the resolution. I want to
you
protect.
said the exact opposite. You said we should.
No.
You
but
just
I want-
did.
but I want to-
I asked you, do you recommend we pass this resolution? You said
I
yes.
will say yes, but I want to protect the township's interest with regard to the allocation agreement. And I've done that from day one.
The allocation, you had no, excuse me, your solicitor had no idea what the allocation agreement was till I drafted it and handed it to him.
Right.
That's where it came from.
Right.
There was no allocation agreement.
Right.
Unfortunately, I guess I planted the seed. Shame on me. Now I can't kill it. It's grown into this massive destructive thing and I'm stuck with it.
And the agreement that's referenced on June 19th provides the developer 30 days from June 19th, 2024 to provide it. And as the record provided, I had followed up on numerous occasions, and we still haven't received it.
It was to be provided if needed. It's not needed. The Hubbardston Borough Authority has already signed off on phase 2. The lines in phase 2 are in, by the way. They're done. They've been inspected, secured. That part's over. On the minutes of the Hubbardston Borough Authority is their acknowledgement that the allocation comes from their account. The city signed the master agreement for all the gallonage. Township will not entertain any of this. We can't even talk to you guys unless and until I get everybody to sign that big agreement, as your solicitor just said. And it's not to be presented until it's completed. I can't get it completed. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?
How long have you been having this dispute with the township? How long has this been going on?
Here's the date, man. How long have we been screwing around with this?
So we submitted.
This is Tyler Freed, this is our engineer.
Yes, it's speaking the mic.
Yeah, my name's Tyler Freed. I work for Reese Engineering, the engineers on the project. So this initially was submitted to DEP back in 2021 as an exemption from planning module. And when Jim alluded to the fact that DEP is saying, we don't think this is in your public sewer district, that's what's requiring this resolution be adopted tonight, or at some point. And that's what requires the component 3, which is what the resolution is for. So we began this back in 2021. The first letter, if I recall correctly, that would have indicated this agreement needed to be put in place was in 2022, at which time, as Mr. Preston said, we did not believe it was required. We've been pursuing this since then, and in different manners. So like we've been working this through DEP, as Jim said. DEP said, hey, best route's gonna be get this component 3 executed, you're good to go. That's why we're here before you tonight. The whole idea of what we have before you tonight is we have a packet of papers that is what's considered a DEP component 3 planning module. All it says, essentially, in short terms, is the township says this property is to be served by public sewer. I think we can all agree, the Steel Club project for phase 2, the lots are 10, 15,000 square feet. You aren't doing a whole lot of sewer. So it's pretty obvious, public sewer is what the design was for. The zoning shows that. That's all the agreement does. It says, yeah, township agrees, this matches our zoning, public sewer. DEP will review the whole package. Your engineer, I'm sure, has reviewed the package, hence why it is before you has a complete resolution to be signed. If it was incomplete, they'd have noted so. So it's, this is a very simple, in engineering terms, this is very simple. Component 3 goes to DEP, DEP reviews.
So, Mr. Press, let me ask you something. You talked about this DEP appeal process, which is timely and costly with depositions and everything else, and you're sort of running this parallel track to try to avoid all that. If you had to go through the entirety of that DEP process to its conclusion, how long would that take?
We could be at that another year.
Another year. Another year. And then, once all those approvals are done, how long does it take to build out these properties and get your COs? So,
7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years. 7 or 8 years. These fools are trying to close the landfill and have no taxable, no revenue coming from that. We have an opportunity here to have a development that has been already approved by the township. Approved by the township, and we've been dragging our feet for 3 years. We're gonna jam you up for another year.
Obstructing. Steve is about obstruction.
Obstructing you, and now it's gonna be another year, and then it's gonna be another 7 or 8 years till those homes get constructed, get COs, and become taxable properties in the township. It's beyond comprehension.
There's another issue. There's another issue because there's been, we've talked about a lawsuit that was filed, and one was filed. It was in the nature of a mandamus to require the township to issue permits for the project. What happened is, at some point, the solicitor proffered an agreement that talked about the allocation agreement, that it either had to be delivered, I think it says if necessary, there's some kind of language in there.
Hold on. Are you saying that there was a proposal to resolve that litigation that came from?
No, this is prior to the litigation, and that said that the agreement is if necessary. But the remedy for the township would be to issue a stop work order. There was never a remedy of denying us permits. Our remedies, our legal remedies in terms of legal recourse, differs between failure to issue a permit and a stop work order. We go down different tracks to get those remedies. The agreement that your solicitor is referring to only provided for a stop work order. It did not provide for the non-issuance of permits. What we have is the non-issuance of permits. We can't make you issue a permit.
Those are two totally different things. Stop work order, you stop working and all your materials sit there, and if the property's open and it gets weather, gets damaged and everything else, whereas denial of permits, you can finish the construction and sit on it until you resolve that issue.
We're stuck. We're basically stuck. There's not much we can do. And I had hoped at a minimum to maybe get the DEP process moving this evening with that, with the approval of that module, but it appears that that's sort of that's a hollow victory, because if it has that attached, if that's a condition, it's no good to us.
Steve, can you explain why you put that condition in, that the remedy would be a stop work order as opposed to suspending or denying occupancy permits?
I want to read to you a portion of the letter dated June 19, 2024, which says, among other things, the developer is going to provide an agreement within 30 days. It says, open quote, separate and apart from the above, your client further agrees that no certificate of occupancy will be issued until and unless the sewer agreement is received or written documentation that no such agreement is necessary. So it relates to a certificate of occupancy.
But he provided with the documentation that it wasn't necessary, didn't he? Because he said, DEP said it's not necessary.
It's still necessary for us, for allocation.
How can he give something to you to say it's not necessary when we're the party determining what's necessary?
And why didn't you bring this to council for us to decide whether it's necessary or not? We're the elected officials.
So
Why didn't you bring it to council for us to decide whether it was necessary?
Nothing has changed. You've had copies of this correspondence for
Why?
a period of time.
You covered it up. You hid it from council instead of letting us make that
It's
decision.
been part of litigation, and when it's in litigation, you've been seeing it, as I've been providing you with
Let me
evidence.
just comment on that, what we just read to you, because I don't want the misdirection to continue.
Thank you.
Thank
What
you.
was said was
The
certificate of
dishonesty.
occupancy. Now, everybody needs to hear that. We agreed that we would forgo certificates of occupancy until that agreement was signed or found to be not necessary. I'll leave aside the fact that we found it not necessary. We would never get a certificate of occupancy for any building if you couldn't use the toilet. You can't do it. So that's a no-brainer. We don't need a certificate of occupancy until we get the sewers hooked up. It was a no win, no lose for us. So we agreed, by the time we need COs, we'll have all this worked out. But we can't even get on, we can't get started. We can't get anything. We got nothing. We got GOTS, we can't get anything.
You said you were stuck. Who's the one person responsible for you being stuck? One person.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
Is it Mr. Gutsuzian?
It's the township's insistence on that.
Okay. Now, how long have you been doing this, representing developers and doing municipal work like this?
More than 3 decades.
More than 30 years. Have you ever been harassed and jammed up like this?
I've never had this happen.
Have you ever been harassed or jammed up like this by a solicitor?
Well, I'm gonna leave the solicitor part off, and I'm gonna say I've never had a township case like this.
Right.
I'm not gonna go down.
And I would just like the public to know that, one, I asked Mr. Gutsuzian flat out whether he, he received the waiver to conflict of interest for Hellertown. I asked him whether he did anything for the borough. Borough authority advised him either directly or indirectly in this matter. He won't answer.
And he's getting paid for it.
You know, he's getting paid taxpayer dollars for all this, and he won't answer. And then I'd also like to point out, you know, and all of you should remember this in November, that Mr. Spurk, who owns this property, supported the 3 candidates, not Jason and I, but the 3 candidates that ran against these 3 in the last election. And I think it's payback, it's retribution. He supported Blair, Engels, and Yerger, and who ran against, lost, Vladimir De Leon and Lon Donkey Optoff. And
Okay.
no, I'm not done yet. I'm not done.
Avoid those comments.
Okay, here we go.
Not necessary.
Now she wants to shut me up. So all I would say is, remember in November. I think this is just political. This is political harassment. Political harassment. It's absolutely political
Can I
harassment.
call for a vote?
Sanctioned and paid for with your tax dollars.
Harvey, before we call for a vote, I think just to be clear, I believe the motion was it had to be contingent on this agreement. My suggestion is if you're inclined to make the motion to authorize the signing of the resolution prepared by Hanover Engineering with a letter sent that Steel Land has still not complied with the terms of the letter agreement dated June 19, 2024 and has not provided the water treatment plant allocation agreement, which would allow them to move forward with the sewer module, which is what the resolution is today, but protect our position on the record with regard to the allocation. Or if you were inclined to amend your motion to that.
I have a problem. Why are we just hearing about this now at the meeting? The agenda was out on Friday. The agenda had to be finalized the Monday before, and now all of a sudden, our solicitor is changing the whole resolution.
No.
He wants to add the resolution. But why didn't you do it before, Steve? It would have been fair to the applicant. It would have been fair to the
I will
applicant.
amend my motion as per Steve's word.
I want to hear what the applicant has to say on the amended motion.
Let's do this so we don't lose.
I want to hear what the applicant has to say about the amended motion, because believe it or not, this is the first time the applicant has heard about the amended motion, because Steve didn't do anything earlier. I want to hear what the applicant has to say about the amended motion that Steve just threw on us, because he was unprepared and didn't know what the hell he was doing.
So, Laura,
Shut up, Steve, I want to hear from the
No,
applicant.
not yet. Did you amend your
Stop
motion?
yelling. I did call to amend my motion per the wording that Steve gave, and I think we got a second down there, the other was yelling.
I did second that.
Okay.
Now, Steve, will you please let the applicant speak? Shut the hell up.
I
The
just
applicant wants to speak. The applicant has asked to speak.
respectfully, the two of you have spoken for the last 30 minutes over and over again about this, and I
It's a
just
new
want to
motion. It's a new motion. They just amended the motion.
I want to respectfully say that I think we're going back and forth, and a lot of lawyers, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lawyers here, and I don't know how productive it is at a council meeting to have the back and forth and interrogations and ganging up on our solicitor at a public meeting.
So why did we have an executive session? Why did we have an executive session? We didn't have an executive session last week or this
Recommendations
meeting.
of our solicitor who's bound to represent our township and our township's best interests.
And he can also represent Hellertown because he got a waiver. He gave him a waiver to represent
If
Hellertown.
I can finish, because both of you have spoken, I didn't interrupt you. I think it's not productive right now to go back and forth and back and forth. I think Mr. Gazuzian has his position on behalf of the township, and obviously the attorney for the applicant has his position. They're both presenting those before the DEP, and that's where it's at. So.
It's not. The DEP just said, did you not hear what he just said?
The DEP doesn't care.
Oh my
For us
God.
to sit here
Can you not listen?
and litigate this right now is inappropriate. That's what I have to say
litigating
about it.
We're not
I think if
litigating.
Mr. Hudson has something additional to say, that's
No.
great, but I would hope that
No.
as a council, we can wrap this up and move to the other.
This has been
items on our
amended, it's
agenda.
an amended motion, new motion. Amended motion, new motion. Mr. Gazuzian could have called an executive session last meeting where we had a very short agenda to discuss this. He could have called one today to discuss this. He didn't. He amended it during the meeting. He could have done that in an executive session. It's more incompetence. Now, I want to hear what the applicant has to say on the amended motion. To say we're going back and forth, how are we going back and forth on the same thing when it's an amended
This is what
motion?
you're doing right now is you're going back.
It's an
and
amended
forth.
motion.
It's something new.
No, you've all received
You
the
know, this is
correspondence from Mr.
ongoing
Gazuzian.
litigation.
No, you just said you amended it.
Discussed at a public
He
meeting.
just amended
To
it.
be clear, I anticipate that the applicants can speak for themselves, but I think they'd rather have this amended motion than the motion that was initially presented because it's not.
Steve, I don't know what you meant. I'm not.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Paraphrase, it is to grant the resolution, but at the same time send a letter to the DEP outlining the township's position, as I said. So it's not contingent, which I believe is
Why would we send a letter to the DEP
to protect.
saying what the township position is, when the DEP's already said what their position is?
To protect the position of the township. And I believe the developer would
To
rather.
create an issue for the DEP to get something to grab a hold of is what you're trying to do. You're trying to give some traction to the DEP.
I think as a council, our duty is to represent the residents in the township, and I.
And yet Mr. Gazuzian representing Hellertown and Lower Saucon.
It's frequent where there's different positions,
And he won't
and
admit that he did.
they have to flesh those things out.
He won't admit
This
that
is
he
not the appropriate forum for us to sit here and flesh those things out.
Well, I'm going to
With three
respectfully,
attorneys trying to
Well,
get.
hold on. Go ahead, say it.
I have to respectfully disagree. This is the legislative body for the township. He's subject to your whims.
Absolutely,
He's
but our
subject to your
solicitor
whims.
has to guide us
His
in
property
what-
rights.
what-
his-
Let him finish, stop interrupting
His
him.
ability to
Let him finish.
He represents the taxpayer. This is how you treat taxpayers. You talk over their lawyers.
Let him
Let the man
finish.
finish speaking, big mouth.
Let him
He
finish.
and I are discussing it, just.
No, you're not
You're not discussing, he's talking.
You're shouting, why are
You're
you shouting
talking.
and screaming?
He's talking and you're speaking
I
over
would
him so
like
you
to
can hear me.
speak. I would
Loud
like
enough.
to speak
You have
without
spoken,
you
let the man
interrupting
speak.
me. I
Let
would like
the man
to speak
speak.
without
Let him
interrupting.
speak. I want to hear
Mr.
it.
Gazuzian, on personal credibility, please
Township
speak.
solicitor represents us.
Let him
Our
speak.
solicitor have to
Tell her to shut up.
and our solicitor.
What is
Tell him one
happening
time.
is-
Our solicitor gives us guidance, and it would be inappropriate for me as a council person to disregard our solicitor's advice, who's reviewed this matter and sent us updates and updates and updates about what's happening. That's my point. It's not that you are negotiating with them and you're not working hard and you're not trying your best to get things done the way it's supposed to. It's just that when I have my own solicitor advising me to do something, I don't think it would be in the township's best interest to go against the solicitor's advice, because he's the one that's reviewed this the most. He has the opinion.
Okay, we don't need any sound effects here.
I respect your opinion.
Try it. You're hyperventilating, try it, it works. Try it.
There's a record. So please, for the record, say what you want to say.
Well, I respect the councilwoman's opinion. Unfortunately, people are not bound by their lawyer's advice. Mr. Spurk doesn't have to do what I tell him to do. I can advise him, I can give him my opinion. He's not bound to do that. You're not bound to follow your solicitor. What I have is the same duty you have. My duty is to my client. My client signed an agreement where he said he would forego certificates of occupancy. This township will not give him anything. He can't get a building permit. He can't get a foundation permit. He can't get a permit to cut weeds. He can't get anything.
All for political reasons, remember November.
For whatever reason, we're stuck here, okay? And if you're suggesting that I need to shut up because I'm trying to advocate on behalf of my client, then respectfully, I don't think that that's...
No, what I'm trying to say to you is that right now, we're arguing back and forth between council members, the solicitor, and you on a whole bunch of legal information. What I'm
Mr.
telling
Preston's not
you
arguing anything.
is that for me as a council person, I don't feel that it's appropriate for me to disregard my solicitor's advice. And I'm sure I can disregard my solicitor's advice. I mean, that's what people do when they plead guilty or not want to go on the stand. They decide to go on the stand when the attorney says, I advise you not to go on the stand. I don't want to be in that position this evening, and I don't think it's appropriate on behalf of the township.
Well,
I will say on your behalf that the allegations made that somehow I have anything to do with the township obstructing you or getting in the way of your project.
He didn't do that,
There is no such, exactly. So I want to make sure to him, because I want to make sure he understands that that's not what I'm intending to do here. I have no interest in whether this moves quick or slow. I hope that it can move quickly, because I would hope that the development can happen. And that's where I stand. But I appreciate my lawyer's advice, and I need to take it. That's just my position.
I am not questioning your lawyer's advice, and I'm not challenging your lawyer's advice. What I'm challenging is, and what I'm trying to put before you are the facts, because I don't think you have those. I don't think that you've been told exactly what's been going on.
No, he doesn't
The
tell us anything.
application agreement is not ours to produce or to have signed. It's not ours to chase around, and I'm sure that you've been told that we are responsible to produce the allocation agreement. Look at me and tell me you haven't been told that.
I have
She's
not been
lying.
told it that way.
She'll lie to you.
So
I have not been
She'll
told
lie
that
to you.
way.
She's a goddamn liar.
I have not been told that way.
we can't get a permit to do it. We have an approved, recorded land development plan. Township ownership.
This is how they screw residents that don't agree with them politically. This is how they screw residents, right?
Take
Am I right?
exception to that comment. I don't know if we
So
can.
do I.
Who in their right mind would want to come here and have a development? What developer would come here and build anything and want to deal with
I
this
say
nonsense?
we're gonna call for a roll call. I think you understand what the revision of the thing is. I know there's open
Oh, does
litigation.
Steve have another amendment?
And, you know, maybe it gets resolved there. I don't think this is like the right forum.
Thanks for that, Lost.
Say Steve, roll call.
Red form, we're the council, the votes, what's the
Mr.
red form, where
Benonis?
should they go? No, I don't believe whatever has been drafted by our solicitor on this issue, or proposed by him.
Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Carochi?
No, Steve, we cannot trust a word our solicitor says. He has not advised us on this to the extent. We're hearing things for the first time from the applicant. And they amended the motion during the meeting when he could have done that weeks ago, and he refused to have 2 executive sessions the past 2 meetings. So I'm a no vote.
Ms. De
Clean
Leon?
as plot.
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
Good, thank you.
All right.
Always a pleasure. We're here every other Wednesday. Come back and see us.
Next item is
Always
presentation review of
enjoyable.
the capital improvement
Good night.
plan for
Take your waiter
2021
away.
to 2030. And our Director of Finance prepared a draft for us.
Hello, Council. For those of you who have not met, my name is Patty Carney. I'm the new Finance Director at the Township. Tonight, I will present highlights from the proposed Township Capital Plan. I want to first say that the capital plan is a living document at one point in time and is subject to change as options and situations present themselves and is used as a planning tool. During the budget preparation and adoption process, the Township Manager and myself can provide council with an update on the status of the projects in the capital fund and discuss any future projects that should be added or removed from the plan. Getting on to some specifics in the plan. The first section listed in the composition of the plan is highway improvements. Now, as a general rule, annual paving projects are paid out of the state fund and with liquid fuel funds. And they're not typically listed in the capital plan. So under this section, we have in 2025, the township was awarded 2 grants totaling $193,126 to secure funding for video detection cameras to address signal detection as well as provide a tool for the police department. We are currently working with the contractor for installation on these cameras. Moving on to Parks and Rec. We are currently working on split rail and chain link fencing replacement at Polk Valley Park and Town Hall Park. It is being partially funded through grants received by the township. Some future projects include bathrooms at the Reading Drive Trailhead, for which we have a $125,000 grant, and blacktopping the trail at Town Hall Park. Under the historic site section, we are continuing to show the same historically allotted $20,000 per year. We have earmarked an amount for porch repairs, window repairs, and repainting at the Heller Homestead. In the next section, the township vehicles. Due to the nature of police work, the vehicles require replacement after approximately 2.5 years. The Chief of Police is requesting replacement of 1 vehicle next year and 1 additional unmarked SUV for the fleet. As far as the Public Works Department, they have a 10 to 15 year vehicle plan. They are requesting to replace 1 2015 dump truck. They are going to convert a truck into a utility vehicle to prolong its life. And then they are requesting an additional truck to replace the truck that is being turned into the utility vehicle. As far as township facilities, the approved additional space for the Public Works building is in the design phase, with the addition estimated at this point at $1.3 million. A local share grant is in the review stage, and we are applying for additional local share grants from Northampton and Monroe County for $500,000 each, and we just recently received support letters for each of those. The next section being stormwater management. In 2025, stormwater drain work was completed on Romans Court and is going into the maintenance phase currently. For 2026, we have received a preliminary estimate for stormwater improvements on Peachtree Lane totaling $1.1 million. As outlined in the plan, although we currently have enough in reserves for this project, we are requesting an additional $350,000 appropriation be made if the Peachtree project is approved, so the township continues to have an appropriate level of funding for stormwater management. Roger, the Public Works Director, will be at the next meeting if there are any specific questions regarding the project. And lastly, IT improvements. The police department is requesting funds to update their records management system to CODI to comply with impending legal mandates, as well as to purchase 10 mobile radios that are P25 compliant and upgrade 20 portable radios to be P25 compliant, which will also be legally required. And if you have any other questions, I'm sure Chief can provide that information to you.
Thank you, Patty. I just want to ask a quick question for you on the updates for the police radios and that type of thing. My understanding that that's a requirement by the state or the federal government to update those.
One's a federal and one's a local requirement.
Okay, so I just want for the community's benefit, obviously we want to, I support that wholeheartedly, but this is an example of what's called an unfunded mandate. So oftentimes we get updates that are required upon the township, and then our municipality has to come up with the funding and the necessary requirements to replace those items or update them, but there is no budget in the state government for, to compensate us for doing the mandated update. So I just wanted to highlight that portion of the capital plan. I think that it was well done, and I appreciate you, Patty, for putting this together. I support all of these things. The other item I want to highlight is, at least my understanding from our manager, is that right now we're looking at a decrease in grants for all types of things because of legislation that was passed by the federal government. So with that being said, I am unsure at this time how much grant money we will get in the future. The state money, I'm hopeful we will get, and we have our share grants out there. The last item that I want to highlight is our staff has been working very hard at Erin, who works alongside Patty in getting her certificates in place and taking classes to help identify new grants and new funding opportunities for the township to help offset costs that we may have. But
Who suggested
I
that? Me
want to
and-
make sure.
Correct, and also the chief applies for grants as well as he sees
Yes,
them coming in.
yes. So I want to thank both the chief and Erin for their efforts in trying to find grant funding for various projects that we have. But I appreciate the capital improvement plan and all the work that was put into it. Thank you.
Let me just highlight a couple points. Victoria just talked about a grand total of $220,000 for radios. Listen up, public. Fund balance, 2025, $3.9 million. 2026, $3.8 million. 2027, $1.5 million. Goes down a total of $2.3 million between 2026 and 2027. 2028, fund balance is 1.5. 2029, fund balance is only $1.1 million. 2030, it's 1.2. Unrestricted fund balance, $2.8 million in 2025. In 2026, goes all the way down to $591,000. $2.3 million gone. Okay? Where is the money going to come from? At the same time, 2028, the landfill is scheduled to close. The landfill contributes about $2.5 million. You're going to take away $2.5 million of income, and you're going to deplete your fund balance by a total of $2.3 million. So now we're talking about a $4.8 million swing. Okay? That's what's coming, and that's what they're not preparing. They'd rather harass a developer who's trying to get some properties online that maybe we can get some tax revenue out of that goes not just to the township, but also to the county and to the school, right? To the school. And for the most part, students aren't going to be living in that development and going to the school. So it's going to be essentially free money for the school because you're not going to have students coming from that development going to the school and using those resources. And this is the shit that they're focused on. This is the stuff they're not telling you. Look at the details, okay? Look at the details. I've been screaming about it for years. They're not planning for this, and it's coming. Pay attention. Pay attention in November, because November is the end of the line. And when the property values go down, folks, here's what happens. Your property values go down, right? And what do we have to do? We have to raise taxes. And then what happens? Your property values go down even more. And nobody wants to live here, and then your school goes to hell because we don't have the tax revenue to pay for the school. That's what happens when you have incompetent people in charge.
Okay, now,
I'll take exception to the comments of
Take whatever you
discussing
want.
incompetence.
But you know what? Take responsibility. Why don't you start taking responsibility?
All the other
Instead of exception,
insults
take responsibility.
and name calling just proves the idea that your interest is just personal attacks.
No, my interest
And
is to
not
protect the taxpayers who are going to get bloodied
You're
because
sitting
of your
here
incompetence.
talking
Take
about
responsibility.
disliking me or other members of council.
Take
calling us
responsibility.
names And not addressing
You're
other
incompetent.
things.
Take
I think
responsibility.
everybody has talked about, if you want to talk about property values, I've discussed over and over again, the fact that when you turn half of our township into a brown field, filled with garbage, then people don't want to move here, and their property values may go down. So if we're talking about the interest of making sure that people have good property values, that they have interest in coming to the township. I think there is lots of financial value in protecting our natural resources, but that is not the argument for this evening. She came here to present her
I have
capital
a question.
plan, not to
I have
listen to your
questions.
insults to
If
me
she would ever
or
shut
any
up.
other members of council. And if you truly had a legitimate argument, you wouldn't resort to insulting people.
You're incompetent.
Yeah. All right, are you done, incompetent? Did you read the Susquehanna report, financial report that analyzed the economic impact of landfill closing?
Yes.
Do you have any general thoughts on that? Meaning, we have this 5-year capital plan here. How, in light of that survey, that analysis, and your capital plan, how do you think it's going to be 2028, 2029? To stay at this type of level, like we are now, with about, $3.5 million in reserves.
I understand what you're saying. As far as staying at this level, I mean, it's hard to judge in the future, because when I prepared the plan, I mean, I don't know politically 3 years from now,
Right.
whether, if there's going to be tax increases,
Right.
or, if we're going to have the landfill. So that was very hard to predict 5 years out.
Right, so you don't know 3 years from now whether there are going to be massive tax increases or we're going to have the landfill if the litigation goes in the landfill's favor. But probably one of those two things are going to happen. To stay at our current level of funding and to have the current level of reserves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if every year in the past we've used the full amount from the landfill.
Right.
But we do use some of it. But
We use a lot of it though, right? I mean, how much of it do we use on a yearly basis?
I'm not sure if I could speak for in the past.
Okay.
Now, last year was unique because we transferred quite a bit over for the Public Works building.
Right.
So
Right.
it depends on year, what the capital plans are for that year, what you want to do.
Okay. All right, now, these, Victoria brought up mandates, unfunded mandates. And Jay, I'd like you to weigh in on this too. No, these come down from the state, and usually the state, it's unfortunate. They don't provide funding, but they ask you to do things such as stormwater management. Now, Jay, you've been a municipal township manager and borough manager for a long time, right? You're familiar with these mandates?
Yes.
You've seen these mandates in the past, right? Okay. What happens when a township just can't afford it? And it's a state mandate.
Well, if we talked about each one of these individually, you start with stormwater and MS4 requirements. There's fines that can be instituted from the federal government for non-compliance as well as the state government. If you want to use the two police items here, let's take the first one, the Cody system. Officers would not be able to, and the chief can weigh in on this, but communicate with national databases and county databases to do crime investigations, and well, the officer would on the road be able to pull information on licenses, names, that type of stuff, that type of information. The radios are to increase the officer's availability to communicate with the P25 program. There are many areas with not only within the township but within the county and the state that are dead areas. And without the new radios, officers would not be able to communicate. I mean, they could probably, I'm not going to list some of the facilities they're in the township as it is right now, that they don't have communication with the outside world. Their radios are basically dead, lack communication. But that also funnels over, you're going to have the same issues. The fire companies are going to need that because they also communicate with the 911 center, and also there's buildings or areas in the township that they could be involved in either a fire or search and rescue, and they're not able to communicate with county. Right. This has been an issue that's been going on 10, 15 years.
Right. And so these unfunded mandates they're just kind of a fact of life. They've always been around, they'll probably always be around going in the future. And some of them, like you just explained, are very important, like the police officer being able to communicate, stuff like that. Others, even stormwater management though, is serious, especially if you're not in compliance. It can probably hurt you in grants, I imagine, stuff like that, or they could kind of hold it against you. Even that, I've never heard of the state, really doing anything to force townships that don't have a lot of money, that are basically broke, from doing stormwater management. It's not like they come and demand you spend the money and do it.
Well, you've seen some municipalities put in the stormwater stuff where you put an additional tax on property to
Right. Right.
Those mandates.
Right. Tax on law. So Jay, you with all your experience, what is your feeling about this capital plan in the next 5 years and the funding levels? In 5 years, 2028, what are we looking at? Massive tax increases if we don't get the landfill funding?
Well, as Patty said earlier in her presentation, this is a wish list. There's items on here that can be pushed and moved around that are not necessary. These are kind of like what everyone puts in their hopes and wants. If the general fund's not able to support these, then money would not go to capital projects. With the potential loss of revenue.
Sorry, what'd you say, Jay? The money's not there?
If the money's not there on the general fund to support capital programs, then the capital programs get pushed and they're done.
Pushed being not done in a timely manner.
We're not done at all.
We're not done at all.
Correct.
So, 2028, we're looking at either massive tax hikes or cuts in services and projects, or if the landfill remains open, then we're not looking at that. Now, I think this is not me saying this. This is what Jay's just said and what Patty's just said.
Interrupt for a second. Do we have, Patty's standing up here, do we have questions for her? 'Cause
I don't know if anybody else does, but I don't have
sit
any more questions.
Sit down instead of standing there.
I don't have any more questions for her. I'm not done talking to you, but you can sit down.
I'm
if you
just
want to.
saying,
Okay, that's fine.
if
I
we
know you
have
need to
questions
interrupt.
for her.
I know you need to interrupt. But,
If we have
I
questions
just have
for
one
her.
other
so
question.
there we go. You don't have the floor.
I just have one
You
other
don't have the
question.
floor.
If you want to-
And then you say, what? And then you'll say, and then,
If you want
How about you wait till you have the floor? She already left.
and you'll do nothing. You'll do nothing.
What do you tell the truth about what the landfill
I just
represents?
wanted Patty to be
24
able
and a quarter
to sit
square
down.
miles, 15,000 acres, it's 1% of the township, and you say it's half the
That's
township.
okay.
What do you tell the truth? Half the township, it's 1%.
Right. So that they're lying to you. It's about, Jay's right, it's about 1% of the township property. It's ridiculous. And it's all to appease their political supporters. Ginger Petrie, her parents had a property out there. Those are
Okay,
the
can
only
we
people.
stick
So-
to the topic?
So that is the topic. That is the topic. If we don't get landfill expansion, we'll have to raise taxes massively or cut services, or both. So that is the topic now,
I
actually.
think
It's called a
it's just
capital
fear-mongering.
program.
She presented her
And
capital
I would like to
plan.
thank Chief
And
Warren.
as she said, it's very
Chief.
flexible and it's a
Thank
daily
you.
moving document, and that's where we're at.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna sit here and again insult people and to have a political
Keep
agenda
interrupting.
on something that's as simple as a capital plan,
I didn't
it's a waste
insult
of
it.
everybody's time.
I didn't insult you. I would like to thank Chief Warren for being here. I mean, he's making an ask for radios and some other equipment, and he at least had the fortitude and the spine to show up. We have other people that come in here all the time looking for things, and they don't even have the wherewithal to show up.
Would that be fire services? Now, thank you, Chief, and I look forward to supporting the request you made in this capital plan. Can't say from anti-police Priscilla marches defund the police parade.
Okay, do we have any other comments? Any comments down there? Okay. Okay, this isn't anything that we need to take any action on, so thank you, Patty, for hearing.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Excellent.
All right, the next item is 5B, to set a hearing date for Raising Grant Conditional Use Application CU 01-25 for 3667 Route 378. We were going to request to, so we need to make a motion for this, to set the conditional use hearing date for November 5th for the Raising Grant application. So the application is scheduled to be reviewed on the October 23rd Planning Commission meeting, so we'll have the hearing after that. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
What date again? What date again?
I believe it's on the November meeting date. Right?
First meeting of November.
Yeah, it's a regular meeting date.
When are we doing the budget? We usually bring the budget out before, so the voters know by election day whether they're gonna raise taxes or not.
That's when you don't want to be transparent.
Twice they raised the fire tax after election day. After, like, to pursue
You're ready.
that.
You're ready, here it comes.
Twice they've done it. Beware.
Can we have a roll call?
All I asked was when the budget hearing.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Carochi?
No.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
We're gonna try and sandwich it with the budget, so we.
Motion passes.
Oh, we're here for 4 hours. We're here for 4 hours.
For the public's benefit, we have to set a hearing date, and if we don't, we will legally be
Well,
liable.
you don't have to set it that
So-
date. You can set it any date. You can even call a special meeting and set it.
For us,
Yes, you can.
for us to even imply that we should not comply with legal requirements because of some political agenda that they have
Can
is
we get a point of order and move on?
I don't want that date. I don't want that date.
We're
I
on
want a
to,
special meeting or another date.
we're on
I
item
didn't say don't set a
5C,
date. Pay
authorization
attention.
to send solicitor to the October 27th, 2025 zoning hearing board appeal for 3621 Lower Saucon Road. My manager is requesting authorization to send the solicitor to the October zoning hearing board meeting for the appeal relating to this property at 3621 Lower Saucon Road. So I'll make the motion for us to do that.
Second.
Okay, do we have discussion?
Yeah. This has been going on forever. My question is, has EAC weighed in on this? And this is an environmental issue for what's taking place here. Is EAC going to be attending this? Have we made a request to EAC to attend this? I understand the purpose in sending the solicitor, but isn't EAC's purpose to try to prevent things like this from happening? I mean, they want to ban plastic bags from being used, but yet they'll spend more fuel in their car driving to their EAC meetings. So why aren't they going to something like this, which is clearly an environmental issue?
Okay.
Anyone answer? Laura, are you part of
The
EAC?
EAC does not
Well, I would
participate in zoning hearing board hearings.
There aren't they residents and taxpayers? Don't they have, can't they speak on behalf of the
What are you talking about?
EAC? I mean, they showed up here.
They were here for the whole landfill.
German
They participated in the zoning hearing board for the whole landfill thing. What do you mean you didn't participate?
Call for a roll
You're
call.
nuts.
Okay,
You're nuts.
not an EAC member.
You're nuts.
Mr. Carochi?
Well, I have no trust in our solicitor to tell us what's going on, or to direct, he's not shown any integrity in a lot of these matters, as far as I can tell, and he doesn't communicate with us or tell us what's going on. He just amended a motion tonight, at the last minute, instead of calling an executive session to explain it to us. Probably because he didn't think about it at the time. So no, not this solicitor, no.
Ms. De Leon?
Let's see, yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
All right, next item is 5D, discussion and possible action for a landfill closure compensation fund. We did not receive any documentation specific to what we were talking about. This was requested by Mr. Dennis. So you can tell us what your topic.
Yeah, so I had requested this. How much do we have currently in our surplus? Yeah. Just ballpark number, 9 million, 10 million?
Quentin, walking out. Where Tyler?
Our operating reserve
He's in.
has about 5 million, and then there's another 3 million in general savings.
So we have about $8 million total available. Ballpark. All right. So when we enacted the new host agreement with the landfill, part of the agreement included a compensation fund to protect property owners adjacent to the landfill expansion. And the purpose of that was to protect the property owners in the value of their homes and their properties, so that if there was any adverse consequence from this, that they would be compensated by the township and made whole as a result of the landfill expansion. We did that specifically and with intent. I don't think that certainly was not in the prior host agreement. And I think it was something unique in Pennsylvania to have that sort of mechanism to protect our residents and taxpayers adjacent to the landfill. Since the majority of council is hell-bent on closing the landfill, there's going to be a consequence to everybody in the township. So my suggestion would be do something similar to protect all the other residents of the township and give them their money back. There's no reason for us to be sitting on $8 million of your tax money. You're going to be hit with taxes. We've already established that many times. In fact, we just talked about it earlier today with regard to the capital fund. So you're going to get hit with more taxes in the future. So these people aren't doing anything to plan for this. So my suggestion is that we create a landfill compensation fund and that we give the money back to the residents and taxpayers in proportion to their property values. Divide up the entirety of the property value and allocate it proportionately. Give them their money back, let them invest it, because we clearly don't know what we're doing with it, and we don't have any plan to do anything with it. So take your money back and use your money as you see fit, invest your money, and hopefully you can grow your money enough to at least soften the impending tax blow that's going to be coming from the landfill closure if it occurs. I think it's the only sensible thing to do. These people would gladly give your money away. They've already given away your money, and they would like to give your money away to other pet projects and causes. But that's not what your tax money is for. Your tax money is for paying for things that are in the capital plan, such as police radios and paving projects and things like that. You know, maybe we should go back to dirt roads. Maybe we should just eliminate all paving, sell the paving machine, reduce the public works staff. Maybe we should not replace road signs when they're knocked down, so people don't know where they're going, or we don't need stop signs anymore. You know, maybe we don't need the police anymore. I mean, clearly the tenor of the national climate right now, it doesn't suggest that we need police for any reason, do we? No. So let's give people their money back. Let's create a landfill closure compensation fund, and let's get on it right away. We've got a budget season coming up. We can plan for this, and I think we should include in our budget how we're going to be distributing that $8 million of your tax money that we've been hoarding and not using effectively and prudently.
Well, I'd second that motion, but they confiscated, you know, your tax dollars, and they're going to confiscate more of it if this landfill closes. It's your, you know, we understand, Jason and I understand, it's your hard-earned money that you pay other taxes on as well, state, federal, besides your property taxes. We get taxed, just think about how many times a dollar's taxed. You make $1 in income, well, you pay federal income tax on that dollar, you pay state income tax on that dollar. You have to pay property taxes, you have to pay 6% sales tax in Pennsylvania, whatever it is. You fill up your car, you're paying a federal gas tax and a state gas tax. That dollar's pretty heavily taxed. And it's just going to get worse with the closure of the landfill. So I'm in support of the fund. You know, we shouldn't be confiscating people's hard-earned money. Something that these three don't know, because they last I've heard, at least two of them don't work, and Priscilla hasn't worked in 40 years, I believe. She's collected some type of, she won't ever tell us what it is.
The newspaper,
But she is fatigued, but she won't tell us what she was getting, workers' comp,
Okay,
or
stay on
disability,
the
or whatever. She's been doing that forever.
Tom.
And so she doesn't know about a hard dollar earned. She sits at home and it's given to her, I guess, or it has been. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I guess she eventually go to Social Security. But the compensation fund, I think, is a good idea. We shouldn't be confiscating township residents' hard-earned money, especially for some of like for the police. That's fine. For roads and that's fine as well. But some of these other things, I mean, instead of giving our employees bonuses last year, police included, and we'll get to how they wasted our police officers' time this morning, some of them who had to work night shifts the night before. But instead of giving our police officers and our employees bonuses last year, they spent $150,000, maybe even more than that, on pet projects to their political supporters. Some money went to a dance studio or some type of art dance thing that Victoria's child participated in, and the Democratic School Board member's child participated in. That's what they think. That's what they think it's funny.
It's false,
They
and it's
think
a
it's
lie.
funny.
That's why I'm laughing,
They think
because you
it's
can't
funny.
tell the truth.
They think it's funny when they give your hard-earned tax dollars to their political friends. The laughing by Victoria
It's
says it all.
insulting.
It says it all.
It's
It says it
insulting.
all. She thinks it's a big joke that your hard-earned money is wasted in this way. It's a big joke. Remember in November. Thank you.
All right,
So I seconded
Victoria.
his motion.
Thank you, Tom.
I second the motion. You got that on the record there, Lois?
I do, actually.
Good.
I'm gonna try to be brief with this because we have a number of motions here, or a number of items on the agenda that have no supporting documents and no information and are put on here as a.
$8 million in the bank account, that's the supporting document.
And a self-serving attempt to speak to the public and say a lot of untruthful things. So the first thing, when we talk about the compensation or the land buyback deal that the new host agreement talks about, it was one of the most insulting things I ever saw. When that was proposed as part of the Phase 5 expansion and a land swap that was offered, they told the people of Steel City, which it was a very narrow area, maybe a little bit beyond Steel City, but a certain radius around the landfill, that they would retain their property values, but you had to participate in a very antiquated process. You had to send information to them, and if you sold your property, you would have to get a number of different offers or a number of different appraisals, and then ultimately the landfill got to buy your property. So it wasn't a very nice thing to do.
It's not public
in my
comment.
opinion.
I need to speak up here.
Sit down.
If that was the basis of
Sit down, it's not public comment.
That was the basis of the agenda item.
Sit down.
The basis of this
Ejected from the meeting.
If the host municipal agreement
Oh.
and the buyback option for landowners
Presentations about that
was
program
part
are
of the
inaccurate.
agenda, then it should have been placed with the agenda item so that the residents could read this buyback agreement for themselves and decide whether that was really a good deal for the residents of surrounding Steel City. To also argue that somehow this parcel is 1% of our township and therefore it doesn't really impact the residents of Lower Saucon because it's only over there, the 1% that we don't care about. I think that if everybody looked at the area that we're talking about, it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres, parts that are part of conservation easements that provide beauty and support for our residents, that provide the same quality of life that people where Mr. Bononis
Ms.
lives.
Cordero is speaking
I
about
respectfully ask for the
the
floor. I think
landfill
that she's
expansion.
coming up out of order. I don't know why she's coming to
the landfill
podium.
expansion is a
It's
subject of a
not-
piece of
it's
litigation.
It's not appropriate, it's out of order.
That she
And I
refrain
ask that
from
she.
making representations about the expansion
I am.
because of her conflict and because of that pending litigation and because she's making inaccurate statements about the host agreement and the
You're
expansion.
disrupting our meeting, sit down.
As I was saying, we should have had the municipal host agreement, which included this very, very lucrative deal for the people, to the agenda so that you all could make the decision for yourself. I don't know why it wasn't part of the agenda, if Mr. Benonis wanted to identify it, but we heard earlier this evening that on one end, I think I'm gonna wait until Mr. Benonis stops wasting your time.
Little boy, and turn off your microphone, you're not speaking.
I'm just trying to help her out here. She's hyperventilating.
No, you're wasting everybody's time. You're wasting the residents' time, you're wasting the staff time, the police time, and council's time.
3.5 minutes. She's gonna be brief. 3.5 minutes.
Because you keep on blowing into a bag. So let's be respectful to everybody here, okay? So earlier in the evening, we heard a complaint that our capital fund was gonna go down, and oh my gosh, fear mongering. Our 5-year projection doesn't account for landfill closure and this, that, and the other thing. He complained that we were gonna lose money out of our capital fund, and now we have an agenda item where he just wants to basically, he wants to take all the money out and do nothing with it. He wants to give it back to you, meanwhile, he says we have capital improvements that we need to deal with in the next 5 years. He complains that we have to pay for those things, but then he wants to take all the money out of our reserves to do that. The other most important thing I want to highlight is that this council, but way before I came on council, did the important thing to save money. They paid down their debt. They made sure that we were tax-free in that respect, so that we didn't have any debts, so that we could close the landfill.
Thank you, Don Love.
So there were multiple council members. There's one in the audience and one here on council this evening that did plan
Who's that?
for landfill closure. So now Mr. Benonis just wants to eat up all of the money with either just returning it back to you so we can't pay for stop signs and police stuff. And on the other hand, he wants to sit here and say, oh no, everybody's gonna be destitute. Our council did the right thing to save money, and to sit here and say that we have no way to plan for the future is ridiculous. And it's insulting to Ms. Louder, it's insulting to everybody else that was on this council that did that planning. I think that this is ridiculous to even put this on the agenda.
I'm gonna read the definition.
And attach the documents. You want to talk about being transparent. Where's your host agreement that you thought was so lucrative for the residents?
It's on the township website.
No, it's not part of your agenda.
Does it need to be?
It was.
All right, we're gonna move to the next comment. Priscilla, do you have comments to make? Put the paper bag away.
No, but I'm very disappointed that an item can be placed on the agenda without supplemental information, because it's disrespectful to the residents. They cannot comment on something that's not in the agenda.
Yet she didn't say a word when Good Susan made an amendment to a resolution.
Okay.
Amendment to a resolution that wasn't on the agenda. She didn't say a word. She didn't say a
You've
word.
had your time to speak.
She didn't say a word. And she's worried about no supporting documentation.
Considering Victoria
He amended a whole resolution.
Tom, you still got another 5.5 minutes left.
This
That's brief.
item,
That's brief.
yes, the item here
Yeah,
without
no
any
time.
explanation makes no sense at all. There were
My motion's very clear, isn't it?
many things you could read into it, and it's a ridiculous motion to
It's ridiculous to give people
get
their
rid
money
of
back.
all the money in our
We got a roll
fund
call.
balances, so we have zero. That subtly sounds,
Well, what's the right number? You tell me what the right number is then. What's the right number to give back? Let's not make
Okay,
it zero.
let's have a
I'll
roll
accept
call.
an amendment. If you want to amend it, I'll take a different number.
let's have a roll
proposal.
call.
Make a proposal for different. Is it $1 million, $2 million? What's the number?
Ms. Daly.
I'll amend it. I'll agree to amend it. Hold on. I'll amend it. Laura, what's your number?
I'll second the
I
amendment.
thought we had a roll call.
What's the amendment? Because I'll amend it.
Roll call.
What's the number?
We're
Because you
on
have
roll
no
call.
number. You have no number because you're a vapid, empty person.
Yeah, let's do the roll call. We have a motion on the floor, right?
I'll amend it.
Ms. DeLeon.
Laura, Priscilla, you have another? Laura?
I'm not hearing, there's too much talking. My answer is, no.
Ms. Ray.
No.
Mr. Benonis.
Well, we know how this is gonna go. I'm the guy that actually put a property protection plan in place for the people, and these people don't wanna protect the rest of the taxpayers, so let's have that vote. I'm gonna vote yes.
Ms. Uptown Cordero?
It's insulting.
You're insulting.
No.
Mr. Carochi?
I say we amend it and we just agree to return $100 to every
You're
taxpaying
in the
resident.
middle of a roll call, you're
And
not
then,
amending
let's see,
anything.
$100, let's see if they'll even return, I mean, $8 million of taxpayer money is confiscated in a bank account.
We're finishing
Let's see if
the
they'll
roll
even do
call, and
$100
we're
million.
moving on to
Or let's see if
the
they'll even do
I'll amend my
$100.
motion.
$100 to each
I
resident.
will amend my motion
That's property
to
owner.
return $100
We're
to every
finishing the
resident.
roll call,
They
and
won't
we're
even do
moving
that.
on
They
to
won't
the
even
next
return
agenda
$100.
item.
I'm amending my motion.
They won't even return $100. I didn't vote yet. I didn't vote
It's
yet.
not
Well,
done.
we'll skip
I'm
you
amending my
if you didn't
motion.
vote.
Oh, you're
We're
gonna skip me.
moving
I'm an
on.
elected official. You're not gonna let me vote.
I'm amending my motion.
I vote yes.
You gotta finish with one roll call, and then if you wanna make.
I made the motion that we return $100 to every
I'll second that.
taxpayer. He
You
seconded it.
gotta finish one roll call first, and then you can make another motion if you so choose.
Okay.
I make a motion that we,
We did not finish roll call, Mr.
I voted yes.
All right, what's your motion, Tom?
I make a motion to return $100 to every taxpayer in the township
Second.
from the fund. Just $100.
It's pretty ridiculous, we're just gonna throw out numbers, you wouldn't even know what
I
the
asked you
total
for a
of
number,
that
you didn't
is,
give a
that's
number, so what are you
idiotic.
supposed to do,
This whole
stab in the
thing is
dark?
idiotic, let's
$8
have a
million.
roll call.
$8 million of taxpayer money in a bank account.
Secure that money for the employees,
Yeah.
so that we have employees in this township.
Right.
That's the biggest
Okay,
asset.
can you be
We'll get to
quiet?
that.
We're
Ms. Ray?
not having public comment, no.
Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
Ms. Uptown Cordero?
Sorry to the residents for wasting this time.
And your money.
Mr. Carochi?
And stealing your money.
Again, $8 million, they won't give you $100 back. $8 million, they won't give you $100 back.
You
Yes.
those screwed the fucking
Ms.
township
DeLeon.
with the deal to begin with.
Motion fails 2-3.
All right, 5E, discussion and possible action on Lower Saucon Township and Bethlehem landfill versus Lower Saucon Township et al. Sunshine Act violation. Again, no particular reason for this on here, no documentation provided, and this was requested by Jason.
Well, the documentation was provided by a solicitor on or around July 9, 2025. I believe everybody was on the email for that, and at the same day, I requested this as an agenda item. So it goes back to Steve Gutsuzian's letter to all the members of council, and it says, as an update, the landfill has filed an appeal. They've also filed a statement of errors complained of on appeal, a copy of which is enclosed. This is part of the process of appeal. No response is required from you. I just wanted to keep you updated. No legal interpretation whatsoever of this statement of errors that was provided. And Steve has come into meetings, and as I recall, has said, well, you know, we won on preliminary objections and the landfill's litigation. This is the litigation that stems from the violation of the Sunshine Act, where the majority of this council, not Tom and I, somebody instructed Steve to undertake activity to reverse the township's position with regard to litigation involving the landfill. And it was brought forward that there was a Sunshine Act violation. It was never on an agenda. It was never discussed in a public meeting. It was never discussed in an executive session to vote on this. So, of course, the landfill filed a lawsuit because of this illegality, among other things, including Victoria's conflict of interest. And Steve talked about the fact that we won the POs. Well, the fight's not over. I brought that up. I said, it's not over. There's going to be an appeal. And of course, there is an appeal. So I think the public should know that there's an appeal. We continue to spend tax dollars on this nonsense because we're paying for the solicitor to participate in this and to do various things with regard to it. So among the errors that were identified by the landfill in its statement, and this is a public document. Anybody can go to the docket and pull a copy of this. The docket number, if you're interested, Northampton County, Court of Common Pleas. Would you stop speaking, please? Can I have the floor, please? Will you get control of your time? Docket number C48CV 2024-4294 is the docket number. And you'll see in there the rulings from the court, and you also see the statement of errors complained of. First is, the landfill says that the trial court failed to properly apply the standard of review for the preliminary objections. And also that there were fundamental factual errors as demonstrated by the findings from the court. It neglected to correctly apply the appropriate standard of review for disposition in the nature of a demurrer. Talks about count 1, that township council persons voted in secret. Count 2, ratification motion was not placed on the agenda. Count 3, there's an alternative claim brought against Mr. Gitsuzian for filing the joinder brief reversing the township position in the related litigation without the express permission of township council, thus exceeding his authority. Goes on to talk about the different areas, counts 1, 2, and 3, about the facts that are pled in paragraphs 96 through 100 of the complaint, where the landfill preserved its challenge. The court says they didn't preserve their challenge, but it says right there in the document that they did, paragraphs 96 through 100. The court improperly made a factual determination that the council person's alleged secret vote was properly ratified on May 1st, but again, that was not an agenda item. The trial court should have accepted those facts as true for purposes of this complaint and allowed the case to go on, is what the argument says here. And that the landfill is requesting a declaration that councilperson Victoria Ophoff Cordero has a conflict of interest related to the votes on this expansion. It stated a claim that she has a conflict of interest with regard to that. The court says that it didn't, the landfill in its pleading didn't say what if any legal work was performed or funds that were raised or expended, but specifically, the landfill's complaint says Victoria was involved in conditional use proceedings, the original procedural validity challenge, the current procedural validity challenge. Would you stop shaking when you're nervous?
I'm waiting for you to show me the money, because I'm waiting for money.
I'm reading what's in the pleadings here. Pending substantive validity challenge, pending declaratory judgment litigation, pending land use appeal of BLC's preliminary land development approval. She was engaged in performing substantive legal work such as research and fact-finding. She was assisting with the retention of experts, and she was acting as a liaison between her parents and other individual opponents, and Mr. Apteek, who's the lawyer involved in representing these people. This is pled. So, excuse me. This is pled, but what they're allegations.
Yeah,
These are
allegations that have been
Stop
thrown
speaking.
out from court twice
See, she
because
can't help
you
herself.
came to
She can't help
council
herself.
and
She has a
paraded around
condition
and
that
wanted
makes
an
her
academy
blurt
award.
out when she knows she's caught here in a problem. It's embarrassing to her. It's hard to embarrass her, I'll tell you that, because it's tremendously embarrassing sitting next to her. But these are the things that our solicitor is like, oh, here it is. But he doesn't tell you what the ramifications of this are. And the fact that we continue to pay tax dollars to fight this nonsense against the backdrop of this. And I said this before, there's likely going to be an appeal. Sure enough, there's an appeal. And I expected that maybe the township doesn't do too well on that appeal. So my purpose in putting this on the agenda tonight is to first bring to the public's attention the fact that this response was filed and what it says, that the township's position is a lot more tenuous and on thin ice than what has been represented to the public before. And to also suggest that the township stop this nonsense and stop wasting taxpayer dollars fighting a frivolous lawsuit that I think in the end is going to be indefensible. I was there for the meetings. I know what was said and what was not said. And I can tell you, there was never any discussion about taking a contrary position to what the township position was, and there was never any vote on any authority to give Steve to undertake this. So I'm going to make a motion that the township immediately stop the nonsense, and that the township withdraw its opposition to this lawsuit, and that the township undertake efforts to try to resolve this matter with the landfill. And if this isn't a matter that's appropriate for executive session, Steve, tell me, we can go back into executive session right now and recess and have a conversation and a vote on that. We can come back. You tell me what to do, because you're the solicitor.
I don't think that's necessary. It depends on if there's any real discussion that needs to be done.
Okay, well, thank you for confirming we don't need to be in executive session. So that's my motion.
I'll second.
All right, and there's my comments.
I have some comments. I have some comments on the authorization of our solicitor and how that's working. One of the things the township residents should know, and Mr. Finnegan, a solicitor, really is to advise the council and the township and the township manager. And, it's always been where the solicitor really communicated with the township manager, that individual members of council couldn't direct the solicitor or ask the solicitor to look into something, because that's when the township incurs legal fees. But that's been going on here. The three Democratic members, I have no contact with Mr. Goodsuzian at all.
Nor do I.
But the three members of council, three Democratic members of council contact him, I believe, quite regularly. The reason I believe this is because when I talked to Mr. Finnegan about the legal bills, he sees where the township is being billed for communications he's not having with Mr. Goodsuzian. And it's in addition to council meetings. Obviously he bills for council meetings and he bills for other stuff that he's been authorized to do. But I would like to see the number of hours he's billed on simply fulfilling requests or getting information to the Democratic Council when on this thing. When you know, that's really not how it's supposed to work, and it really, those legal expenses really aren't approved by council and aren't discussed publicly.
It's like when Priscilla hijacked the engineer.
Right, when Priscilla hijacked the engineering firm, the left line firm. But Mr. Finnegan, can you please confirm?
You had them going.
Can you please confirm that in other municipalities you've worked at, that the solicitor was not directed by the council members, he was directed, he or she was directed by the township manager, is that correct?
In my other roles, the solicitor in the engineer's office, if called by a council member, would call the township manager to see if that work should be performed, because the manager and the finance individual is responsible to manage the budget.
And does that happen here?
Not that I'm aware of.
So the exact opposite happens here, meaning council people call the solicitor or have conversations or communications, email with the solicitor without the township manager's knowledge. Is that correct?
I would have to go through the solicitor's bills and to confirm that.
But hold on, we had a phone conversation.
There are billings for stuff that I was not a party of.
Right, so there are billings that are being paid for township tax dollars that are not part of Mr. Finnegan's communications with the solicitor. They are communications with Democratic council. And so they're spending your tax dollars in an unauthorized manner, in my opinion, because they're contacting him, and listen, he's the solicitor, he should bill for his services. I have a little bit of problem with his rate. I think $220 an hour is a little steep, especially with what I feel is some of the questionable advice he's provided me or the council. But you know, so I have a little bit of a problem with the $220 an hour, but I don't have a problem with him billing for his time. But I have a problem with council members contacting him, getting him to look into things or do things for them, or you know, and not going through the township manager. There's literally, they're using him as their own personal law firm for their own political reasons, and there's literally no check and balance on that. There's no check and balance on that. It's not talked about publicly until I brought it up tonight. Mr. Finnegan has no control over it. I don't think that's any fault of his own. I think it's just that, listen, if they're not gonna bring you in and have a conversation with you, you know, you're out of the loop, and the bill comes in. I guess you could refuse to pay it, but you know, maybe that's the route we should go. We should refuse to pay it, and then they would come in here to get Mr. Goodsuzian paid, which again, I said he should be paid. I don't have a problem paying, but you know, I just want the residents to know what is happening here, and how they are abusing tax dollars, and what they're doing, and how they're keeping Jason and I in the dark, and even the township manager in the dark when they feel like they have to. And they're doing it with your tax dollars. They're running a political vendetta and political operations with your tax dollars. You saw that. Example A was when Mr. Spurk and the Steel Club were here.
We're not talking about
So
the
thank you.
agenda item at this point.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Finnegan, for your honesty. and integrity. I'd like to make a motion, we hire,
For him,
Mr. Finnegan, our great interim township manager.
Victoria, do you
I'd
want
like
to
to
make any
make a
comments?
motion to hire Mr. Finnegan permanently.
Tom?
$200,000.
I think first, if there, since there's been,
Sit down.
The funny thing is, he won't take the job at any amount of money, because he don't want to deal with these three.
Sit down.
Like, we're gone in a couple months, you know, it's these three is why he won't take the job.
Give them the.
Because we're gonna be gone,
Okay.
and that's why I won't take it.
in order, because I don't even,
Nothing from the audience. Tom, sit down.
No amount of money.
I don't even know how we got off topic so far.
$1 million, $1 million.
We got eight, for 3 years.
We got $8 million. No, $8 contract. No cut, no cut.
So, Mr. Kazuzian, can you please give the public the status quo of where this, in
Status
Mr.
quo of
Benonis's words, frivolous lawsuit? Can you please give us the
Oh, I don't think
status
it's
quo?
frivolous.
You said frivolous, you don't want us to keep fighting a frivolous lawsuit, those
No,
were your
putting up a
words.
frivolous defense to
So-
a meritorious lawsuit is what I
So,
meant.
in your words, I wanna get from the solicitor's mouth the status of the litigation that the landfill filed against our township from telegraphing Mr. Benonis's award-winning, Academy Award-winning production he had back in 2024, that then resulted in taxpayer dollars being spent to fight a frivolous lawsuit that's now on appeal because they lost at their first, they couldn't even get out of the starting gate in the county's court. They couldn't get out of the starting gate with that, they lost there. So they had to appeal, and then my understanding is that they even screwed up their appeal. So there's a motion to quash their appeal because they don't even know how to file an appeal in Superior Court. All the while, yes, Lower Saucon Township taxpayers have to fight a frivolous lawsuit that Mr. Benonis telegraphed because what he wants us to waste our time and money to defend his pet project. So, Mr. Gazuzian, can you please give
What's
us
my pet project?
the status quo of the frivolous lawsuit that we have before us? And can you, I know that you lean back a lot, if you could just speak into the microphone, please.
From a big picture standpoint, the company filed, it was dismissed at the preliminary objection level on various grounds. The landfill then
Talk louder, I cannot hear you.
lost on all aspects or withdrew on all aspects, then took an appeal. What Mr. Benonis was reading from was the statement of errors complained on of appeal, which is the landfill's position. Currently, it remains on appeal. There is a motion to quash the appeal that's been filed, and that is pending. So that's where we are.
How long has it been pending, Steve?
Don't know.
And just so where they threw out, the court threw out the allegations that there was a sunshine violation.
All those were dismissed by the court, Tom, please.
Just like that defamation lawsuit that I filed against you.
All of that was
on appeal.
dismissed by
Remember that
court,
one?
Tom, please.
Remember the one that's still
Meeting
ongoing?
Careful, I'm making
Remember that?
you.
Yeah. Because that's not what the Superior Court
Stick
said.
to the topic of the agenda.
Well, I'm explaining, I'm giving her an analogy, because she's claims to be a legal scholar.
If you would have had the link to the document, we wouldn't have had to sit here and listen to you talk about it.
Well, the
People could
you have
have
the
read it.
document. You have the document. The item on the agenda is exactly the same as what you
put
provided
it
to us.
on the agenda.
It's the same item.
Residents.
The title of his document is Lower Saucon Township / Bethel Landfill versus Lower Saucon Township et al. Sunshine Act violation. That's the title of the letter, that you received it. You have the letter.
You should put all
What am I
the
supposed to
words
do, spoon feed it to
Talking
you?
about the letter.
I'm supposed to spoon feed it to you? You have the documents. I'm not doing your job for you.
You failing.
Priscilla, you don't have a job, you can't do a job. I'm not doing it for you.
That's what I'm
I'm not doing your job for you, Priscilla, I'm sorry.
Sorry to the
Not doing it.
residents that you don't get to read all of the frivolous lawsuits that were filed and the responses by the court.
Yeah, and he could have given it to you.
He didn't want you to hear what the court had to say about the complaint. He didn't want to hear the motion to quash either, so he just cherry picks his words.
It's a letter from our attorney to us. You have it. You could put it out there if you
I'm
want.
ready for roll call.
Okay,
I don't even think there was a
I
motion.
don't know, did you?
Please do. Please enlighten us, Laura. Please take up more.
You made a motion to what, your motion? They
Yeah.
should, tell us,
Ridiculous
can't remember the motion.
I don't think it's appropriate to be talking about the ongoing law case anyway, because that gets
The solicitor
handled
said it was.
in the court.
So he's the lawyer, you're not.
Okay.
Yeah, so should we go back to executive
He's the
session?
lawyer.
He said no.
Anyone watching can see how much listening happens, so you can imagine what happens in our executive sessions when we have
I think
them.
they're fun.
There's a lot of screaming over everybody,
Really slow.
and these guys kind of don't really know what's going on because they're
Yes,
too
they talk too
busy
fast, I'm
screaming at
sorry.
you, so I'll just say that comment. Let's have a roll call.
Nope, nobody addressed the, not one of these, you notice that not one of them defended my accusation. It's not an accusation, it's really
After roll
confirmed by,
call, you're done talking.
confirmed by Jay that they used our solicitor for their personal political projects. Not one of them addressed that or denied that. Not one of them
I'll
addressed
deny
that.
it, because it's false. It's outrageous that you would allege that
Jay,
people are using the
that's funny.
solicitor for our personal
That was
interest. And it would be
professional.
an ethical violation of Mr.
Political.
Kazuzian to even entertain that.
Political.
So to then suggest it and then try to trap our acting manager into some allegation that you
I
think is
said-
true is ridiculous.
I said their personal
I think you
political.
have the agenda items wrong, because the next one is what you're talking about, not this one.
Oh, yeah, I talk about it again.
Is right.
Give you for free.
Can we have a roll call so we can move on?
Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
Ms. Altough Cordero?
No.
Mr. Carochi?
Everything I said was confirmed by Mr. Finnegan, the professional, political.
That's not the
That's not what somebody said.
Personal political too.
Make a
It's
vote
personal political
for having a
too.
roll call.
Yes.
Wait, no. Mr. Finnegan, did you confirm?
Oh, no.
Teaching a roll call.
There's an allegation that Mr. Finnegan confirmed that we were using our solicitor for personal political reasons. So, Mr. Finnegan, did you confirm that? Or do you even have any
We
idea
don't
what he's
know.
talking about?
We don't know because you
Oh,
hired.
now you change it, okay. So you don't know, you just want to allege.
No, I know.
Don't put our acting manager in a position where he confirms your allegation.
The bills.
Please vote so we can
Ms.
finish.
DeLeon?
The bills. The bills.
Ms. Ray?
No.
Motion failed.
Right in.
All right, 5F, discussion and possible action on the LST entering into 287G agreement for LST police to assist immigration and customs enforcement, ICE agents with arrests of criminal illegal aliens. We weren't provided with information on this one either.
Well, the cites to what the thing is, which is a 287G agreement, but I'll start because it's
Well,
my
you
item.
know, normally you would maybe include a copy of that, what that is, or
Or maybe you
why
have
you
a thing
want
called
to
the
do
internet
this,
and you can type
or
in 287G
any of
agreement
that
and look at
stuff.
it. Hey, I'm trying to save paper,
Okay.
that's all I'm doing, I'm an
Well,
environmentalist here.
maybe the solicitor doesn't help us, so maybe, maybe the
Maybe
solicitor
he can help
helps
you,
us.
you're already using them.
Uh,
All right, so I asked for this to be on the agenda. Section 287G of the Immigration and Nationality Act is a section that authorizes ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, to delegate to state and local law enforcement officers the authority to perform certain specified immigration officer functions under ICE's direction. And what the purpose of 287G, the program, what it does is it enhances safety and security for the communities, and it allows local law enforcement officers to identify and remove criminal aliens who are amenable to removal from the U.S. And I'll say it again, criminal aliens, criminal aliens, criminal aliens, okay? Criminal aliens is what I'm talking about here, all right? I'm not talking about practice. I'm talking about criminal aliens. So what I would propose is that we consider involving ourselves in this program because the purpose of the program is to remove criminal aliens who undermine the safety of our nation's communities and the integrity of our immigration laws. And there's different models that you can have here. There's the jail enforcement model, there's the task force model, and there's the warrant service officer model. So, the way this works is the local law enforcement agency in the municipality enters into a memorandum of agreement with ICE. And I would point out that in Pennsylvania, there are dozens of law enforcement agencies, both county and local, that participate in this program. The program is limited to only law enforcement agencies, and the expense for the training to participate in this program is paid for by ICE. Not paid for by the local community, it's paid for by ICE to train the officers for their immigration duties. So, earlier today, we had Priscilla, Victoria, and Laura who had summoned the police to get together for a meet and greet. Okay, they would have a play date. And they showed up and they wasted the police officers' time with their little play date. It was a waste of time. There were officers that are coming off night shift that had to sit around and deal with this play date nonsense so they could pretend to be cops and pretend to be concerned about public safety and public security and everything else. You got Stacy Mazinski who stood up here complaining about it. She'll be the first one when an illegal hobo comes walking down the train tracks in Steel City and comes knocking on her door. She'll be the first one to call the police and worry about this, okay? So my suggestion is, and my motion is, that we direct the township manager in conjunction with the township solicitor, in conjunction with the chief of police, to get together and discuss and prepare a draft memorandum of agreement for council to consider at the next council meeting to begin the process to allow Lower Saucon Township Police. And again, I appreciate what Lower Saucon Police do. I would rather have Lower Saucon Police enforcing laws. I would prefer to have Lower Saucon Police not chasing down people who are graffitiing signs, and I get accused of being anti-Semitic for that. I would prefer to have Lower Saucon Police not having meet and greets and play dates with 3 clowns on council because they don't have any friends and they want to pretend that they're a cop for a morning. I think it makes sense for our community, and I think that it helps to advance the safety that we want in our community. I'm talking about criminal, illegal aliens. That's what we would be enforcing, and that's what our law enforcement officers would be addressing. Criminal, illegal aliens is what I'm talking about. So, and again, I would give a lot of deference here to Chief Barn because he obviously oversees the department. And I would also ask for the encouragement and the participation of the police officers. They're subject to the police, they're members of the police union. We have an agreement with them. I don't know where this would fit within their delegated responsibilities within that agreement, but I hope that they would be willing to embrace this because it really goes to their core function in providing public safety.
That's second. It's my turn.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I got one other thing here. So I want to give you some stats on the 287G. This is from fiscal year 2024. Fiscal year 2024 was October 1, 2023 through September 30, 2024. Okay, we know who was in the national administration at that time. It wasn't people that were really like pro-immigration enforcement. During that time, there were 12,612 total number of encounters with aliens. There were 467 encounters with aliens convicted of assault. There were 568 encounters with aliens convicted of dangerous drugs, and there were 784 encounters with aliens convicted of sex offenses and assaults. Think about that. Think about the number of crimes that were happening. And this program, which had a participation rate that was not very high at the time. Think about the number of crimes that were not identified and dealt with. I think we can do better here if we were to embrace ourselves in this. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome. So, you know, I think this is a good idea. I think our officers, you know, they should assist, they should always assist if they can be of assistance, whether it's the FBI, ICE, Upper Saucon Police, Bethlehem Police, Fountain Hill. I mean, if they can assist, you know, they should. And, you know, assisting getting criminal illegal aliens, a lot of them who already have removal orders out of the country, I think is perfectly reasonable. I don't see really what the controversy about it is if they're criminals. So a lot of other states are having problems with this because they won't do it. And that's how some of these other people who are hardworking people get caught up in all this. But, you know, they say they support the police, but they'll vote against this, and they really don't. And I think they saw this on the agenda, they wanted a dog and pony show this morning. Can you imagine, you're an officer, you just worked all night, and you gotta stick around until, these meetings, I think were like 11, when were the meetings, Jay, 11:30, 11:45? Or, when were they?
11:45 to 12:15.
Right, 15 minutes each. You just work all night, get off. You're working in like the Star Wars bar scene with these three, right? You know, it's unbelievable, right? And then you gotta like explain to, you know, like a guy just works whatever, 12 hours. It doesn't matter. Even if you work 8 hours.
Stay on the topic.
I am. This is about assisting our police, please. And you got to explain what police officers do to lost. I mean, really. I mean, what are we putting these guys through? Then, when we asked them for bonuses last year, they won't even give them bonuses. They gave $181,000 to pet projects instead of giving our officers bonuses. But they insist that they show up this morning, no matter whether they were on duty or for a fun play date, so they can say they support you and we support you. And I'm sure Lost had 100 dumb questions. But, you know, we need to treat these guys better. We shouldn't be putting them through 45 minutes of hell with you three. Thank you.
I'd just like to say that ARPA money, that the police and the staff and the employees did get bonuses twice out of that money.
Yeah,
And
from us.
the third time, we decided to put it into the community, because that was part of what the ARPA funds were
Because they don't support the police.
No, we already supported them the first and second time.
Okay, you know what, we're talking about ARPA funds, so let's not talk about it. Tom,
When you
sit
give
down,
township
go
employees
refill
bonuses,
your
you are putting money in the community. You are putting the money in the community. When you give our police officers bonuses, and we give township employees bonuses, you are putting it in the
Can we
community.
just stay on topic? We're talking about the request to do ice training,
Yeah,
and I don't know how we got into ARPA funding.
Priscilla brought it up.
No, he talked about the bonuses.
You brought it up, Priscilla.
I know.
Oh, no. The donkey's calling out Priscilla.
No fucking public. You can't bonuses out of that money.
He said then it was his fault.
Hey, Doug, Priscilla.
Comments on the topic?
You have a roll? Or you have comments? Comments?
Fucking roll call. move
No
on.
comments on this.
I don't see the necessity in this because I
Because you're a
don't know
Democrat,
that
you
we have
support
an
illegal
illegal
immigration.
immigrant problem in Lower Saucon
What if
Township.
we do?
And our police
How do you
heavily
know?
cooperate with
All it takes is
the
one.
local agencies that they normally do. I don't
Remember in
think they
November.
need
All it
to get
takes is
into
one.
this.
Remember in November, they don't support the police.
Yes, roll call.
Oi,
Ms.
oi,
Dr.
shame
Cordero?
on you,
We don't have people that use the
Shame on
library, we
you.
pay for that.
shame on
We
you.
don't have people that use the library, we paid $1 million for that.
Shame on
We're
them.
not even gonna.
Donna's right,
It's
shame on them is
free.
right.
It doesn't cost anything,
Yeah.
it's free. And
That's
it's
not
criminal
accurate.
illegal aliens.
To say it's free is completely
It's
inaccurate.
free, the training
2
is free.
not
a.m. in the
free.
morning, when
It's
they're
not
bands in
Donna,
Howard
stop
Town being pulled
disrupting
over
the
that have
meeting.
illegals in them.
Donna,
And
stop
people are
yelling
being
out
called.
from behind.
This is what's
Stop
going
yelling
on
over.
while you're
Donna,
sleeping in a
stop
fake bed.
disrupting the meeting.
For somebody that's running for council, I was hoping that you at least understand my position.
Okay, we're gonna have a recess if we can't have.
All right.
Nobody is respectful around
Recess.
here.
We're stepping off the bus load
Okay?
across the street from McDonald's. You don't care about that.
Recess.
So where do they go? They scatter like cockroaches into the night.
Recess.
I don't know if anybody.
We're starting the roll call at Ms. Cordero.
I like that grip. We're starting early.
Ms. Cordero.
I said no.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Carochi.
Party loyalty is
Yes.
stronger than
Ms. De Leon.
No.
Ms. Ray.
No.
More
Mr.
legal.
Manonis.
This just exposes that their party loyalty to national politics is more important than to the community. They care
No, it
more
means
about
that we
politics
care
than
about our
public
community
safety.
first.
They're more loyal.
This isn't a place to debate
Yes, my vote is
political
yes.
and
Would you
national
stop speaking, try to
topics.
vote?
No,
They're more-
no, I'm not gonna
I'm
stop
voting.
talking
They're more
about
loyal.
accusations.
Stop interrupting.
Right.
Stop
Staff.
making accusations
It's
and
the truth.
speak the truth.
It's the truth.
Stick to Lower
Own it.
Saucon and
Own
get
it.
all your political
Own it.
microphone.
Own it.
They're more
Own it.
they're more loyal to criminal aliens than they are to township residents. Their loyalty is with criminal aliens. It's Hollowhead, it's Hollowhead.
Hollowhead's turning around, it's that lady that was the one who took the baseball from the kid and.
Somebody call a recess. Laura, get control of the meeting.
She's a Phillies fan.
Quiet
She's
back
the lady that
there.
took the ball, I'm not
All
sure,
of
it looks
you,
like her.
Please be
Got
quiet,
that
you're
crumb bum haircut.
disrupting the meeting. You are all disrupting the meeting.
I'm not, she is, she's the one yelling at me.
Mr. Benonis, Mr. Carucci, Ms.
I
Louder.
tried to vote and you interrupted me.
Ms. Ryman. We have numbers of people that are disrupting the meeting. They're all working together.
Hollowhead had her hand turned around, looking at desk, and the only thing you named were the candidates.
Recessing.
You're a joke, you're a fraud. The only people you named were the candidates. Hollowhead had her head turned around.
Lord, don't holler loud enough.
Did the motion pass?
And nobody listens.
You didn't vote.
He did, but I didn't announce what it was because the transcription is still on here. Okay.
We'll vote again when we come back. I don't think we vetted that.
Good job being in charge, Laura. They're clueless. They're clueless what's going on in the community.
How you doing? All right. How do you hear the bathroom?
Oh, no, your eyes are at that.
Trying to tone it down. I was only get yelled at by 3 or 5-year-olds. Like, we're gonna have a library in church. Okay, this is gonna go over to the apartment church. Why is it? Because it's there, like, when you go outside, little boy, put your bag away, little boy. But they still live out there. Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Yes, I really want to go on.
Because it's
Oh, no.
I know. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your support.
We're sorry.
Fine.
I get so frustrated because they got their head in the sand.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
They have their head in the sand like this for major, and it's not.
Yeah. We'll be the first one to complain about something like that.
Like I said, when I even started my house months ago, about the babies, it's another word in the code.
There's something like that, I want to ask you about jumping in there, throw out the credit card. We'll be the first one in here saying, oh,
That's the worst part. You can't be educated. You gotta be able to listen. Good job, Jason. Be a good keyword.
That's why I wanted to get some, I wanted to continue with this litigation. Have good Susie and, put that guy under oath.
He has to sue us. He has to.
Right. That's why I'm not gonna vote for any proof, because I just want him to take the case. He is very quiet, he's very, very quiet. Oh, yeah.
And that was another, like, I was so short. It was at the same police department. I'm wondering.
Well, he's never been a township solicitor. This is the first time he's a solicitor of borough, small borough, West Side.
And they have those problems.
Yeah, they had problems there, right? They had problems.
I just retired.
The $8 million
I'm fine with that. They weren't gonna go. Well, I just want to use a code question. I said.
Your wife will thank me.
Listen, I said, listen, do this. I said, why don't he goes, not for $1 million. So I said, so now I'm gonna say, you three are so back, Jason, you three are so back, you won't work for $1 million a year, you still won't work for you. That's how bad you treat it. I tell them all the
Okay, the time is 9 o'clock and we'll reconvene. It's 9:01 actually.
I was gonna call it out, how enthusiastic those officers were.
He was gonna give a recap of our locale food.
Just on the last item, agenda 5F,
How enthusiastic was
failed 2 to 3, just for the record.
So the next agenda item is 5G, and funding for federal training program at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, Fletch. Requested by Jason.
Approval and funding for the FLEC.
Wasn't this requested by chief?
I did.
Yeah, it was too.
Well, it doesn't really make sense at this point since we,
Yeah, well, this is.
I thought it was free. Maybe he doesn't know.
It is.
Well, he
Is it
clearly
related
didn't
to
know.
27G?
No,
Oh, well,
well, let's do it then. It's funded.
You just said it was free.
No, we're just
Oh,
funding.
it's not free, okay.
I'll make a motion to
Remember
remove
that,
it.
folks.
I'll make a motion to remove it from the agenda because it is free and there's no
Oh.
reason to do this. And I guess, Jay, did I request this in response to your email that you had sent to me when I requested this item? It was part of
Come
the original
prepared, Mr.
request.
Benoist.
Why don't you shut your mouth so you
Come
can ask the
prepared to know what
manager?
you even put on the agenda before you waste everybody's time.
I didn't put this on the agenda.
You did.
Why don't you shut up?
How could,
You just don't like the facts.
well, I got a
Mr.
comment.
Finnegan.
okay.
I got a comment.
It was in relation to
I'll
our,
second his motion to take it off the agenda. It's
No,
ridiculous.
I'll comment.
you're ridiculous, but shut
I
up.
got a comment first. I think we should be for
We have a
funding
motion and a second
for
to
a federal training
remove this from
program.
the
For-
agenda.
I don't want to remove from the agenda. I think we should fund federal training
Well, we have a
for
motion and a
our
second.
officers.
You can vote against the motion then if you want.
I am voting against the motion. I mean, I don't know how you can meet with them this morning and say you won't fund
All right,
training
I
for it
guess we
now.
can do a roll call because we have a motion and a second to remove this item from the agenda.
Mr. Carochi?
Sure, those
There's
officers.
no action, we can just move on.
No, I want to vote. I mean, I don't know how they can meet with them this morning, say they're supportive, and now we're talking about funding federal training for them, and,
There's no discussion.
and they're,
I think it's clear as day, Mr. Benoist has no idea what he's doing,
Well, I
except
know what I'm
wasting
doing.
taxpayer dollars on putting agenda items on here, no support documentation, have a horse and pony show about, we're gonna save taxpayer dollars, it's federally funded, and then they're gonna have a next agenda item where, no, it's not federally funded, we're gonna pay for it ourselves. I don't know which one is it, the right side isn't having it, the left side is not, or you just don't know.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna do a roll call,
Croce.
please.
That's fine.
Mr. Caroche?
yes, we should fund this.
Ms.
You
De
look like you're
Leon?
stroke out, you're really red, you okay?
Ms. De Leon?
Yes, to remove the item.
Oh, I didn't know, I want to fund it.
Ms. Ray?
Yes, remove from agenda.
Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
Ms. Altough Cordero?
Yes,
I voted
Motion
no.
passes 5-0.
No, I voted no.
You,
I voted no, I said I wanted to fund it, but I voted no to remove it from the agenda.
okay, motion passes 4-1.
All right, 5H is discussion and possible action on policy concerning township council member visits to township offices and communications with township staff,
Yeah, I think
requested by Jason.
I did request this, and I'm proud to have requested this. So I
The fourth one
requested
now.
this.
what time did it start, an hour ago with the first one?
I requested,
Cha-ching.
Are you allowed to speak?
Cha-ching, cha-ching, tax dollars.
Are you allowed to speak?
I requested this to be on the agenda in light of the last council meeting. So we had, Mrs. Louder had been put through the ringer by the Democrats on council because she was trying to host an event at Town Hall Park in Rennie the Pavilion. And it seemed to me like that process was politicized against her.
I don't know why this has anything to do with staff members.
Should
Ms.
be
Lauder's
taught.
not a staff member?
Yeah, we're getting to that, we're getting to that.
Okay, well, it's taking a long
'Cause-
time, cha-ching.
Are you done?
What's the
It'll
vote?
take longer,
What
you
was
keep
the vote, Ms.
interrupting.
Louder? 5-0.
No.
So, let's get that.
Well, we're talking about the staff.
You tell me when you're done.
I'm
You tell me
confused
how
because
late.
you're talking.
You tell me, no, you're talking to me. Tell me when you're done.
Are you done?
Okay, so what caused me to seek to put this on the agenda was that interaction, because it was concerning to me because it seemed like that process was politicized. And, you know, this majority of council has been unable to hire a full-time manager for over a year and a half now. We had a former interim manager, assistant manager who was serving the role of interim manager, finance director, and acting manager, who was destroyed by the ladies on council, literally destroyed. A very conscientious person, hardworking. And, excuse me? Excuse me? We did not have a finance director for a while. We don't have a full-time zoning officer. We just got an email in from Jay earlier today in regard to what Priscilla had sent to him with a request. And he wrote, Priscilla, Roger was working, this is with regard to the historic Keller homestead. Priscilla, Roger was working on this prior to leaving for vacation. Public Works just finished their road paving and have moved on to the paving at Polk Valley Park, which is part of the township's MS4 requirements. Public Works has one individual out on short-term disability, a second who initiated paperwork yesterday, and a third one that is leaving the township to move to Kansas. Consequently, we're going to be down 3 people starting Monday. We placed an ad last week and have had 1 person apply so far. I removed all non-township employees from this email due to HIPAA compliance, right? I'm not naming names here, so there's no HIPAA violation. So what Priscilla was writing to Jay about was pressing needs at the historic Keller homestead, her pet project for the $1 billion barn that she wants to build. Rotted porch boards on both houses, which may represent a safety concern and risk of further deterioration. Deteriorated paint on the Heller homestead exterior windows, necessitating preparation and repainting to protect the wood, preserve buildings, historic fabric retaining. A pipe on the roof line not attached to any downspout. She's bugging him to get these things addressed, and Jay's telling her we don't have the personnel to do it. We don't have the people to do it. This is just a glimpse of what's coming, right? So you know, that you see the tears in the fabric, the cracks in the ice, or whatever you want to call it, whatever analogy you want to use. So my concern is for the township staff that they should not need to deal with nonsense from these three ladies coming in and bothering. For example, the police department, just this morning, the police officer play date, I'll call that. I think that there needs to be better controls in place to know what is going on. And my suggestion is that we have a sign-in log wherein members of township staff, whoever they are, documents contact by any member of council and the purpose of that contact and how long it lasted. Whether it's in-person contact, where they come into the offices, or whether it's email, or whether it's a phone call. Because we are running on a shoestring staff created by them, right? Created by them. These people that have stayed and are working hard have to deal with nonsensical things like the police play date this morning. I think it's utterly ridiculous. I think that we should document who is contacting them. I think it's important for record keeping. I think it's important for security. I think it's important for transparency. I think it's important for freedom of information, right? You want to know what your elected officials are up to, right? If there's communications, well, this would be a document that would show who's coming in and who's taking up time and what it is that they're talking about. And it doesn't have to be in excruciating detail, but generally what they're talking about. And if there's any materials that are copied and removed from the township offices to keep better track of those things. They, of course, ran on transparency, right? They ran on transparency, they ran on community, they ran on all these things, which they're not. We know how they're going to vote on this because they don't care about staff. They don't care because they don't give them raises. They don't care because they don't give them bonuses. They don't care about any of this stuff. They don't care because they gave a lady 3 jobs and didn't really pay her the salary for 3 jobs. And by the grace of God, Jay Finnegan fell into their lap. Jay was coming in to provide some assistance, and he now, unfortunately for him, because he was enjoying retirement, I enjoy having Jay here. I think Jay's very confident. But you know, he's working part-time, and we're paying him by the hour, right? So every time he's dealing with this nonsense where they're coming in with some sort of nonsensical request or setting up the police play date, it's costing township taxpayers because he's dealing with them and not dealing with the things that need to be attended to, like the rotted boards at the Heller Homestead, hiring and interviewing staff for the Public Works Department, and a myriad of other things that a township manager has to do. So I think it makes sense to put this in place because I'm not saying it's going to curtail their behavior. I'm not asking them to, they got to do what they think is important and necessary for them to represent the residents of the township, but I think that there should be some mechanism in place that shows exactly what it is that they're doing with township taxpayer money. They scream about using township taxpayer resources and money. That's what it comes down to because Jay's getting paid by the hour.
Can I say something more?
No,
No, it's my turn. You get your turn. We're going alphabetical
Necessarily your
order.
turn.
We go in order.
It's always going on.
We're always going in order.
No, we
Now,
don't.
so I
Always go in order.
got something to say.
And now,
different-
Walter, did
something
you
to
make
say.
a motion?
I got, yeah, he said about the law. He made the motion law and I seconded it.
Yep.
Now, I'm gonna get, and I'm gonna say,
And I would defer to Jay as to what the content of that
I'll
law
say
is.
this, that, I have something to say about that, about the log and Jay doing the log. I do have something to say that, but I will say that Priscilla's email this morning about the Heller Homestead is ridiculous. Jay's, when I talked to him, he was helping with the paving project as far as making sure he drove up there to make sure cars weren't parked on the road, needed towed. He was, trying to hire a public works guy and all this. And we got Priscilla, pain in the ass Priscilla, emailing him about the Heller Homestead and a rotted board. I mean, no wonder, like I said, Jay, what if we paid you $1 million a year, would you take the job? And he's like, no way in hell, he tells me. And there's a reason, And I remind you, he says this knowing that Jason and I are off the board in December. He would just have to deal with these 3 clowns and whoever else is elected. And he won't do it. So that's one thing. Okay, now is this law?
an offer?
What's that? It's an offer by me, but I'm leaving council. When they have to prove that in January, I'm not gonna be on council there, so you're gonna have a tough time in January. But getting to the law, and Jay's great, we're lucky to have him. So he keeps the, all right, so as to, last meeting, Donna was here to have a political event, that these three politically harassed her for having. It was all, just go look at the minutes and go watch the videotape. Now, it was told to me by someone who is not a township employee, so don't blame them, that prior to the meeting, Victoria and Lost came to the township office and spent over an hour poring over Donna's application to try and find some way to knock it out of the box. This was told to me by someone who's not a township employee. Jay, can you confirm that they came to the office and requested that document?
Not that I recall.
Okay, all right, then you maybe you don't recall, but this was, I have this on pretty solid ground. And,
Not true.
and so they're not correct. So they just want to shut up any political opposition and anything. They say it's not true, Donna. I think you were told the same thing by somebody else.
You just heard from Mr. Finnegan himself that nobody came in here to
They're calling me a liar, Donna. You gonna address that? Did it happen?
Somebody did come to me and say that Victoria and Laura were in there looking at my application, going through stuff.
Mr. Finnegan, did I ever come into the township and ask to review Ms. Louder's application and do the allegation that wasn't
You
from
didn't
a
ask
township
him.
employee?
You came in. You probably asked
I'm
somebody
sure I
else.
was here for an hour and a half and Mr.
Maybe it's-
Finnegan had no idea I was here.
Maybe it's not getting you.
Yeah.
I snuck in through the back door.
You're petite.
You know, all the other
staff.
staff members
It
didn't
is.
see it. It was something that happened.
Me-
Mr. Finnegan, did I ever ask you to review Ms. Louder's application?
Me and Donna heard it from the same person, and he wouldn't necessarily know.
Mr. Finnegan, did I ever ask you to review Ms. Louder's application?
No.
Did I ever ask you to put this on council's agenda for her application? Did I say that we needed to hear it before council? Was that my decision?
No, staff policy is outlined in the two applications.
Thank you.
Well, when you badger the guy like that, no wonder he won't take $1 million a year to do it. I mean, Jesus, I wouldn't put up with it either, Jay. She's badgering you with questions all night. I mean, who would do that? Certainly not me.
I think it speaks volumes to the public. I think it speaks volumes to the public that you have somebody running for council.
Right.
I think it
The
speaks
sign
volumes.
sheet, you wouldn't have to answer these questions, Jay.
I think it speaks volumes to the public. I want you all to understand, you have somebody running for council that wants to make an accusation that other members of council pinpointed her and selected her and called her out and wanted to bring her before council, but does she ever go to any members of the staff to confirm whether or not this happened before she makes an allegation?
No, I made the out.
No.
I made the out.
She just confirmed it from the audience. She just sat there and said, I heard from somebody that Miss Ray and Miss Optoff were here snooping through my application for an hour and a half in council, and this is all politically motivated.
Doubts protest too much. We know it's true now. We know it's true now. Doubts protest too much.
Ask
We know
yourself.
it's true. And then look at that meeting. Look at that meeting.
He doesn't want the public to hear what I have to say, so he has to talk over me.
No, that's true.
I never brought it to your attention.
He can't handle it.
Right.
So I'm gonna say it again.
To your attention.
I'm gonna say it again. Miss
I
Louder,
took it with a grain of salt
Miss
before, but I
Louder
never
just
brought it
said,
to your
Miss
attention.
Louder just said from the audience that she did in fact hear from somebody that Miss Ray and myself were snooping through her stuff, and she wants to ask Mr. Carochi and Mr. Bononis to go and bring this before council. I think it's pretty clear to me that Mr. Bononis, Mr. Carochi, Miss Louder are all working together. So if you like Mr. Carochi and Mr. Bononis, if you like the two of them and you think their conduct is appropriate, and even more so for somebody running who's been on council to make an allegation to council members. I'm gonna wait.
Put on a
We're still
tinfoil hat.
wasting time from your
Tinfoil
talk.
hat. Conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, there we go. Tinfoil hat.
Okay.
Well, my point is, like.
No, I haven't yielded the floor. I'm just
Like-
waiting for you to
Why are you
stop talking.
screaming?
Like,
Because you're talking. You won't let other people talk.
You scream the whole time.
You can't wait your
Yeah,
turn.
my fingers in my
You already
ears.
had
I
your
can
turn.
still hear you.
Okay, well then keep them in. So, Miss Louder came here and allege that we had something political to do with our application.
No, I
Which
allege-
I all supported, in fact, I motioned in support of.
After I
And
called it political,
for somebody running
after
for
I called it
council
political,
to then, to do that,
Yeah.
knowing that they've been on council, that they have all these connections with staff members, and they can't even call a staff member to confirm or deny their own, you know, whisper down the alley. I don't know, I don't know who.
Donna, if she wasn't worried about the election, she wouldn't be saying a word.
I don't know.
If she wasn't worried about the election, she wouldn't be saying a word.
Let's stop yelling over each other now.
Gals protest too much when you act like that.
It's not important what they do.
Silent.
Make sure it's following the rules.
Exactly.
Okay, stop disrupting the meeting, put your microphone
The blonde
down.
donkey's a little nervous.
Ridiculous.
No, I just think obviously when they don't like the
I'm not.
when they don't like the truth, their modus operandi is to shout and interrupt and encourage the audience to shout and interrupt because they don't want the public to hear what other people have to say. So I'm gonna say it again and again while you keep interrupting me and letting me finish. It's ridiculous that somebody running for council would even make an allegation like that without even confirming with
Or
one
to
staff
celebrate the death
member
of Charlie
or
Kirk. How
going
about
through
that?
that.
That's pretty ridiculous
So,
too. The guy at the podium was celebrating the
We're all
death
off
and saying,
topic, let's stop, we're
All
having
right,
a roll
that's
call.
enough, this is Charlotte.
I didn't comment yet, I didn't comment yet.
I didn't even get to the heart of the matter because there were allegations that Mr. Croce has to say, oh my gosh, they can't handle the truth, so they have to make false allegations.
Victoria, if I was gonna say something, I
So
was
you're
telling you
yelling
last
now,
time.
we're not having a conversation with you, we're not having a conversation with the
I'll
back
wait
of the
for the
room.
public
Trying to
comment.
shut her up like
Yelling.
Charlie Kirk.
Yes, this is not time for public comment, so stop yelling.
But it wasn't anything
From the back of
important.
the audience.
Really?
To the heart of the matter, I think it's ridiculous that out of one side of your mouth, you say, oh my gosh, we need to love and care for our staff members, we don't give them bonuses, we don't do this, we don't do that. And on the other hand, they want to sit there and say they want all of them to follow us around with little ticker tapes and little pieces of paper and keep a little notepad and say when I say hello and goodbye and how are you doing? And they're going to have to, clock in and clock out. I think if our staff was all asked to do that, it would be a complete waste of our taxpayer dollars because they aren't doing the things that you all want to have done.
stop bothering
I
them.
mean, and then they want to say,
Don't bother them.
then they want to say, oh my gosh, they're contacting the staff. Gee, I think it's important for us to do our job to make sure we talk to the manager, that we understand what's happening, and I think it is important that he receive all the information about what's happening. So, you can't have it both ways, Mr. Benonis, you can't.
Priscilla,
Just
I'd like
don't
to
bother
comment
me.
in. Priscilla,
There's nothing to fill out if you don't bother
has
me.
the floor.
Why are you afraid of
Please.
having somebody know that you're bothering you? Why is that so?
Can I have the floor,
Yes, you
please?
can.
Thank you. That wasn't to you, it was to him.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm the liaison to the Heller Homestead, and I'm asking Stacy if you could show the pictures that I took today. And I went over to the homestead to take pictures so that I could find out from Mr. Finnegan if it was gonna be repaired this year, if it was gonna need to be on the budget for next year. So as you can see, it's not very obvious, I don't have to have a pointer to point to the repairs that are definitely needed. This is the widow's house porch. That's a window in the Heller house. That's the porch on the main house of the homestead. That's the other side of it. Disgusting.
She wants to spend $7 million on this.
Let's build a barn.
And all the windows. I went around the whole house and I took pictures of.
How'd you do that with your fatigue?
And they're all peeling and they need
Don't know
paint.
about this? You're retarded.
They're all peeling and it's exposing
Supposed to have fatigue.
the bare wood, which is gonna eventually rot and cost more money to fix.
Thanks for doing your job, Priscilla.
And you can see the side of the sunroom, you can see how the paint, I mean, this is on the National Register. And, what is that, the pipe? Yes, it's not hooked to anything. So, I don't know, I'm not a carpenter, but I would think that pipe should be looked at. So I just brought that to Jay's attention, and we wanted to find out, so, and look at that, I mean, that's.
Well, if you didn't bring it to his attention, then you'd be accused of not bringing it to his attention.
Well,
So,
and look, that's the post on the widow's house. I mean, really, how many years did it take to get like that and overlooked?
Same question about
And
the
it's
barn.
about time this got addressed,
How can you let that barn?
and
fall
we
into it?
respected this site. So that is the reason why I wrote the email, which I have every right to, and I will continue to do that in any aspect of the township affairs that I want. And I will come in here and I will talk to Jay when I want, and I
I'm not
always.
saying you can't come in and talk to them, I'm just saying to track what the time you're wasting with these people.
Jay, can I
I'm not
ask you a
prohibiting
question?
you, it's not suggesting that.
Priscilla,
Jason and Tom, you
It's
do
not
not have the
suggesting prohibits.
floor.
She makes it sound like she's
Okay,
being
we have one
prohibited,
at a
she can do
time.
whatever she
Can
wants
I ask
to do.
you a question?
Just be mindful of
I
other
just want
people's
to ask
time.
you that when I ask a question about a township item, whatever, don't I always send it to you? And you know, I might copy Patty if I need something or whatever, but I always go through you first.
Oh, I know that you do communicate with me, but I don't access any other ones.
Well, no, I only send the email to you, so, anyway. So I just want to let people know that I go through the proper channels.
well, you say you're gonna go in and see Jay, continue to go in and see Jay, and that's fine. I just, again, wanna point out, he looks forward to that so much, he won't even do it for $1 million a year next year. That's how much he looks forward to Priscilla coming in and seeing.
Jay, I think.
That's how much he looks forward to Priscilla coming in
I
and
think the
seeing.
accusation is made more than one time, and I think it needs to be cleared up. Jay, is your decision about being a full-time manager have anything to do with how I treat you, or Mr. Leon treats you, or how Mr. Ray treats you?
Hold on, I left my truth serum in the car. Hold on, I left my truth serum in the car. Let me-
Hypnotize them.
You ready?
Hypnotize them.
Okay, can
Jay,
the median leave
Jay, look at the
the
pen.
meeting, please?
Jay,
You're
look at the
disrupting the meeting.
Look at the pen.
Ridiculous.
She just go for the roll.
All right. I'd like to apologize for Victoria's badgering questions, completely inappropriate. Yeah, I think we're ready for a roll.
Ms. Taylor, and this is for employee
The law.
Just to clarify, the employee law.
Just the law.
It's a law.
Ms. DeLeon,
Thank you, no,
See?
Ms. Ray,
you guys got enough to do.
Mr. Benonis,
Yes, oh yeah.
Ms. Alcott Cordero,
No, I think we're on an hour and a half now, ridiculous frivolous agenda items.
Mr. Carochi,
Public
Yes.
safety.
Yes.
It's
Cha-ching.
Taxpayer money.
Taxpayer money you're wasting.
Taxpayer money.
motion fails 2-3.
You're wasting it.
Yes. 5I, discussion and approval of the 2026 minimum municipal obligation, MMO approval. So there's two different amounts here. I'll make the motion that we approve the MMOs in the amount of $150,000 and $115 for the non-uniform MMO and $284,801 for the police MMO.
I'll second that.
And we have a roll call.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Benonis,
Yes.
Ms. Alcott Cordero,
Yes.
Mr. Carochi,
Into the bathroom.
Ms. DeLeon,
Yes. Okay.
motion passes 4-0, Mr. Carochi absent. Okay.
Okay, next item is 5J. This is Resolution 63, 2025, for the Northampton and Lehigh Counties Local Share Account Grant. The resolution was prepared to request a grant for the Lower Saucon Public Works Garage Addition. I'll make the motion.
Are you okay?
Yeah, you keep taking pictures of you,
I'll
weirdo.
put it
What do you do
together
with my
with
pictures?
the other,
What do you do with those when you go home?
I'll do it separate.
Weirdo.
All right, so I
think you have
make the
a problem.
Yeah,
motion.
you keep taking pictures of me, you're a freak.
We got the motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a roll call.
Mr. Benonis,
Yes.
Ms. Alcott Cordero,
Yes.
Mr. Carochi is not here right now. Ms. DeLeon,
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. Mr. Croce.
All right, and item 5K is Resolution 64, 2025, the Monroe and contiguous counties local share account grant. This also is for the Lower Saucon Public Works Garage addition. And I point out too, both the grant requests are for the amount of $500,000. I'll make the motion.
I'll make that. Did you make the motion or? She made the motion, you want a
A
second?
motion to have the grant. Did you second? Okay, roll call?
Ms. Alcott Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Caroche?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Benonis?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
See, we can all agree.
Mr. Caroche, would you like to cast a vote on the MMOs and the previous resolution, which was also for a grant while you were in the hall?
Yes, I'll vote yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so for item 5I, the motion passes 5-0, which is the MMO. And on the first grant, item 5J, motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Next item is 6A, the approval of the September 3rd, 2025 council minutes. I'll make the motion to approve them.
Second.
I have a comment on Mr., what's his name? Trump Hamburger? What's his name? Chad? Trump?
Hamburger.
When he, his comment is in here in full. And then when he left the podium, he proceeded to give Jason and me the finger. Middle finger. And Jason said, for the record, I want it noted that Mr. Trump, whatever his name is, Heimbacher, is giving us the finger. And that appears nowhere in the, he actually said, for the record, I want it on the record that Mr. whatever, who's running, is giving us the finger. And his comments appear in full. Jason's comment is nowhere there. Do you remember that, Jay? You remember that?
I remember. Sure.
I remember a lot of screaming, but if you would like that added in, we can.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
Who said not to put it in?
But, so I want that in there. I want that in there. I make a motion to amend it to include that.
Second.
And it's right there in the videotape.
There's a motion already on the floor.
Well,
There is a motion.
but they're inaccurate. They're inaccurate, and especially when a council member. Exactly. Here's where they're protecting one of the candidates they support, right? They're gonna try and protect this guy and not put it in there. It was clearly said in the video, go back to the YouTube and watch. It was clearly said, he said, for the record, I want it noted. And that is nowhere in these minutes. Whereas the comments made by him at the podium, and this is how they're trying to shut down up, but promote these other clowns, and they're even trying to do it by having inaccurate township books minutes.
The minutes reflect what people say.
Yeah, he said that. He said it. He referred to like
A lot of things that you
Nah.
say are just.
It's amazing
And
how
I think if
every
it-
word he said, every word he said,
Council,
every word he said,
us, and gives the middle finger.
Every word
for council who posts online hatred towards Charlie
Do you
Kirk.
need your
That's the
back?
guy.
Do you need your
That's the
back?
guy.
Okay.
And you're gonna, frivolous stuff.
No, the point is
every
that.
word their candidate said.
You are a
every
fraud,
word
and you
their
covered up
candidate
for all your
said.
crooked frauds.
Every word their candidate they support said is in that transcript. But Jason's words are not. Jason's words are not. And they were words. They were words. So this is another way they cover it up. They cover it up. They won't even amend it when they know that that's true. They won't even amend.
Yeah,
Amend
and
it.
I think,
Amend it.
I think that
Amend the minutes.
the point that I was trying to make that.
That's why we're reviewing it.
I'll review the parts that I say. I'm not reviewing all your words.
Well, but
This is condensed.
we're not asking
minutes.
you to
We
review.
know
We're
that.
asking whoever
Miss
did the
Ray,
minutes.
can I be recognized for just a minute, because we had a
1 minute,
a
you're on the clock.
hyperventilation moment here, he didn't have his bag out, so he had to get really
I
mad.
offered it to you.
But
Because you're a liar.
The point is that, and I think you would agree with me, there were multiple times where you gave me the finger, multiple times, yes, I know, I'm gonna take a picture of that too, because this is the behavior that you conduct yourself with. If we put all of the
What are you
misbehavior,
gonna do with that picture?
if we put all of your
Screensaver now?
misbehavior in the minutes, we could never get through the minutes, because you insult people, you call them names, you give
I
them
said I
fingers.
want it on the record.
Yes, and so if we put every middle finger that you gave me or Laura or Priscilla and all the insults, oh, I think we'll pull it up on the picture that you say, we can't, oh, we're hiding things, there's a YouTube
Where's the
video.
picture?
So the point is that we don't use our agenda minutes to put middle fingers up to insult people. The minutes are there for township business, for people to understand what happened in the township.
Cover up.
Not for you
Cover up.
and your agenda.
Cover up.
Okay? Because if I wanted to put all of the times you called me a name, or Mr. Carucci called me a name, or you called Priscilla a name, or Laura a name,
Time's
or
up.
you gave,
It's a minute.
you gave
It's a minute,
profit,
Laura.
you
See-
gave
see the time.
insulting, you gave insulting. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So the
Because
bottom line
this is the nonsense you wanna waste your
You're an
time on.
You're an idiot.
You wanna say that somebody gave you a
Stop screaming
finger?
at me, I'm right here.
You're yelling at me,
Stop screaming at me.
and I can't get my point across because you
you're
can't
too
stop
loud and
interrupting.
obnoxious.
So I'm gonna keep talking until you
Jay,
stop
I'm gonna file
interrupting.
workers' comp claims for
So
hearing
I
loss.
think you should. Maybe
hope
I'll
council
file
will
one for the
support
middle
that.
fingers.
I cannot hear.
So
I may have permanent hearing loss, Jay.
I think that this is again a ridiculous thing. That he would suggest that we put people's middle fingers in the minutes for our
Right.
residents to read.
You said, so again, they're covering up for their candidate, they don't want it in the minutes, they put everything he said in the minutes, so it's a big cover up as usual. But the minutes are inaccurate, I'll be voting
I'm
against
happy to
it.
put Mr. Bono's middle fingers in the agenda,
I think,
in the minutes, if that's
good.
what he really wants.
Yeah, that's what we're,
I
that's what I asked for.
No, no,
So, okay, quiet.
Right.
I'll amend my motion to approve the minutes with Jason's comment added that whatever he said, that he thinks Chad gave him the finger,
I want the
whatever
record
the
reflecting
wording was
Mr.
that he
Hamburger gave me
said.
the record, he's a fraud.
No, not that he gave you, that you think he gave you.
I saw him give you.
I know, and you think you saw lots of
Second,
things.
so we can move on.
I realize you're wearing those Coke bottle glasses, but like, it's obvious as day, the guy was standing up right there.
Can you stop talking so
He
we
put his
can get
hand up
the
against
amended
his face and
second
gave
and
me
we
the middle
can
finger.
finish? Can I get an amended second down there?
Second, I
I'll amend my second.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Carucci?
Jason, I think Victoria's in love with you.
You keep taking pictures of me, Tom, I don't know.
Do your
We
job.
have a roll call. We're
Pay
gonna,
attention.
Yes.
Play on
I
your
do.
phone. Don't
Yes.
play on your phone and look at
Would you stop
scores
wiggling around
and
here?
going
Would you go to the bathroom?
on
We need a bathroom
various websites. You're supposed to be here for the residents.
With
not
the
yourself.
amended, yeah, the amended motion, yes.
Ms.
yes.
De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
yes.
Mr. Benonis?
Yes, the amended.
Oh, you meant, okay, yes. Thank you.
Ms. Alcott Cordero?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
They're not going to cover
I'd
it.
like to make a motion that I received 2 middle fingers from Mr. Benonis and it needs to be added into the
What are you
minutes.
talking about? Right. I'd like to make a motion that Victoria is a complete and utter liar.
Okay, we're moving on to the next item. It's the
Stop touching me, what are you doing,
meeting
weirdo?
approval
Stop
of
touching me,
August
put your hands up.
2025 financial reports. I'll make the motion that we approve the financial reports.
Go down, go
I
down.
smell like a sewer.
She does. She
I have a
does.
second.
She
It's not the
does. She
landfill,
must
it's
does.
you.
What's this for again? I didn't hear it. Victoria's talking.
So I think somebody needs to make a motion to accept the.
She did.
I did.
Financial reports?
Second.
I'll second it, I'll second. Just go right there. I know, you can only take that sentence. so-
Nobody has a comment, can we have roll call?
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Benonis?
I'm sorry, what's the motion? I was trying to
This
de-louse
is
myself from.
Approval of the financials.
Probably has a voice.
Paying attention.
Not paying attention because I had to move because
Ms.
that's
Alcott Cordero?
Yes.
next to me. I'm telling you the reason why.
Mr.
That's why I
Carucci?
wasn't
Yes.
paying attention because I was trying to move away from your
Motion
disgusting
passes
comment.
4-1.
Okay, we're at council and staff reports. Jay, I know you had a bunch.
Thank you. Pleasure to accept $1 million offer.
That's a sunshine law violation, so we're not.
They do it all the time, they don't worry about it.
they might sue, but they'll defend it.
Just
Jay, you gotta read the fine print, you have to have lunch with Priscilla every day. Every day.
No sign of she either.
Erin, just as mentioned by someone earlier tonight, Erin has completed the first of her 3 grant writing classes in September, which was A to Z grant writing. We have an opening in the Adopt a Road program. We're looking for someone from Bingen Road, from Old Mill Road to Reading Drive. Anyone interested, please contact Carol. Lower Saucon Fire Rescue will have their car show this Sunday, 9/21, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Wrightsville Fire Station. The zoning hearing board for September 22nd and the planning commission meeting on September 25th has been canceled due to a lack of agenda items. Just to follow up again on the last meeting relative to the paper bins that were outside here in the parking lot. We've updated Facebook and Constant Contact, but the bins were placed here many years ago. I don't know exactly when. And the Historical Society was getting a contribution based on the volume in there. The company stopped doing that a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. The bins stayed there, and then it became unprofitable for them because they are headquartered in somewhere down in Metro Philly. So we looked at additional alternatives. It would be impossible to install dumpsters here, 6 or 8 yard containers, because township staff would have no way to unload them. We don't have the right vehicle. So we have added the Bethlehem landfill, which will take the paper as well. Their hours are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Saturday 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. In addition to the 2 that were announced at the previous meeting, which is the Allentown Recycling Center and the City of Bethlehem. We did have one vendor that was willing to do it, and their price to come in here would be close to $600 a month as an expense to the township to have the 2 containers placed in our lot again.
We'll take it out of your salary, $1 million.
Okay. This e-cycling is on September 27th. There is flyers outside. Another reminder, the fall cleanup at the Bethlehem landfill is Saturday, October 18th, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Residents are encouraged and urged to come in and pick up your coupon so that you have it to be used that day. It's not that far away. It's just about a month now. In front of you tonight, I left a thing that the Public Works Director put together of the Public Works major accomplishments in the last couple of years. And as highlighted on these projects, these are projects that customarily the township would need to have. Most townships put out to bid. They're not done internally, which in effect saves the township about 33%, because historically, if you bid a public project, whatever it would cost the normal consumer to have done on their property, it's usually about 33% more because of prevailing wages and the various acts within the state. There's been a lot of discussion at the last couple of meetings relative to minutes, so I put together a memo that outlines the requirements of the Pennsylvania Code, Title 4, Chapter 1 on minutes, and summary of the memo is basically our minutes as presented far exceed what's required by statute and far exceed what is required under Pennsylvania's Sunshine Act.
What does it say about giving a bird?
also followed up with the library relative to the PA access stickers and the process that they have to go through with the Commonwealth libraries to be able to put those stickers on them. And there's also, that was in the package for council for this meeting.
Jay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
With regard to that memo, did somebody ask you to put together that memo with regard to the minutes?
No, sir, I did it on my own.
And how about with regard to the library sticker? Did somebody ask you to look into
No,
that?
I contacted Ally.
You contacted the Hellertown Library?
Yes, correct.
You didn't contact OCL, right?
Did I contact who?
OCL, Office of Commonwealth Libraries, State?
No, but the process is also outlined on their website.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right.
That's all I have.
Is that it? Okay,
That's it.
done.
Can I go first?
Yeah, Jason can go first.
Yeah, I want to thank you and staff for your work with the paper issue, the paper bins. I'm glad that you were able to find some alternate sources there and some other options for us. You know, the self-proclaimed naturalists up here, the three Loraxes, they didn't care if there was a paper bin going away. So I'm glad that there's an option to keep that waste out of our landfill. It's growing. We also got from you, Jay, and I appreciate it, you didn't bring this up, I don't think, an update on the Meadows Road Bridge. And Jay was kind, just so the public knows, Jay was kind enough to look into the status of it, and there's some good news there. It looks like they're well ahead of schedule, and there's a possibility, although it seems fairly slim, that they may be done in 2025. The bridge itself may be constructed in 2025, but they may not be able to do the paving because of the asphalt plants shutting down for the winter. But you know, hopefully that moves along and gets done rather quickly. That'll be great for the community and certainly for public safety, so fire trucks can go across that bridge and easier access to parts of the township. I don't have anything else for the council report. Thank you.
I want to thank Patty for her excellent presentation and putting everything together. Thank you for all your hard work, and thank you, Aaron, too, and anybody else who helped. Stacy, of course, for being here, our officers and chief for being here. Jay, as always, thanks for everything. And you know, for the record, I did tell Jay that I'd like to stay on permanently, and he said on the phone, not for $1 million. And so, you know, I know next meeting I'll bring my Bible and swear them in, put them under oath, and we're going to find out. All right, good night. Thank you.
Then Victoria.
Thank you. I want to, as I try to do most of the time, I want to thank our Public Works and our police for all of the work that they've been doing over the past few months, especially over the summer with all the paving projects that we have, as Jay outlined. A lot of the work that they do is work that is above and beyond what most public works departments do in municipalities, and it saves our taxpayers money. I also want to thank the police officers for all that they do, especially in light of everything that's been going on and the heightened threats that people have been receiving and violent acts that have been occurring throughout the country, and especially today. So I will leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, can I go next? Nope.
They want to meet with you guys again tomorrow morning. See the smile on your face. Officer.
Okay, on September 10th, I attended a pension committee, and I have an update. The pension committee met to review the plan administration legislative updates, market performance, and the next steps for Act 49 implementation. The committee is updating plan administrator records to reflect leadership changes. The meeting minutes were reviewed and the session was recorded for transparency. Act 49 will be added to the statewide PSAP master plan, streamlining future updates. An actuarial review is underway. Act 44 was distributed to participating municipality and is due by December 6th. The MRT pension portfolio is performing well with a year-to-date return of approximately plus 10.8%. Strong equity markets are declining, and declining interest rates have contributed to gains across stocks and bonds. The portfolio remains diversified with investments in equities, fixed income, real estate, and infrastructure. A cost of living increase of 2.3 was approved for one officer based on inflation data. Another officer remains at their maximum benefit level. Council approved moving forward with Act 49 implementation. Required data is being compiled, and updates to ordinances and plan documents will follow. The next pension committee meeting is Wednesday, December 10th at 11. So this reflects the committee's ongoing commitment to responsible pension management, transparency, and long-term financial stewardship. So the committee's doing a great job, and I want to thank them for their efforts. And to you guys, Patty and Jay, thank you. Also, I met on Monday the 15th with the historian, and we went over a program that he wants to do in the township, highlighting different areas of the township, and we just kind of generally talked about different historic interests in the township. So this morning, December 17th, I met with the police department and their staff, and again, I want to thank the chief and Jeremy for arranging that, and I really appreciated it, and I hope I told somebody something that they didn't know before. And I also, and I'm not sure, I'd like to have council consider a policy change for the meetings.
Trying to show something.
All agenda items should include supplemental information, or they're not on the agenda. Residents cannot comment on no information. I'm thinking ahead about the residents. There was at least 5 agenda items here that residents couldn't even comment on because the agenda was blank, and I just think that's just disrespectful.
Several residents commented on it, including Chum. Chum commented on it.
Steve, is this a motion that I can make tonight, or does it have to be on the next agenda? Because
It should be on the next agenda.
okay, so then I'd like to ask Jay if you could include a consideration of a policy change to the agenda, and so that it's a requirement that if anyone asks to put something on the agenda, they need to provide supplemental information. And I want to thank Jay because our administrative code, and if I can find it, has language in there that Jay's responsibility as manager is to provide us with the agenda 3 days before and to include supplemental information. So if Jay has to do it, then anybody else that has to be on the agenda should also do it too.
So it's more work for you, Jay.
Could you please give credit to Cheyenne Ryman, who stood up at that podium a year ago and asked for that exact thing that you're now trying to take? Can you do that? Because you weren't the one that came up with this idea for Priscilla, right? So own it, like, don't try to own it. Tell the truth.
So, you're out of order, Jason.
I'm not out of order. I'm calling you because you're creating, this is your idea, and it's not your idea.
By not having the information.
Right? Come on, be honest with the public and tell them it wasn't your idea.
You just sat here and told us we didn't need documentation earlier yourself, so.
Yeah, but she's trying to take credit for this idea, and it's not her idea. It's called plagiarism.
Okay. So, I think that's all I had. Thank you. All right.
I have my notes.
Must be fatigued.
So on September 4th, we had the Lower Saucon Fire Rescue Executive Committee meeting. Unfortunately, there was a death in the Eastern Fire Department, so one of our committee members had to cover duty over there, and our other citizen member was on vacation, so we had a limited board, but we did still discuss and go through the routine information. So the Lower Saucon Fire Rescue had 58 calls in August for a total of 563 for the year. So August was actually their lightest month of the year so far, which they kind of needed a break. They've had a lot. The Citizens Academy that they held last year, they were planning to hold it again this year. That's in conjunction with the Dewey Fire Company. There was not a big interest, so they decided to hold off and wait to recruit citizens for that for next year. They also noted that they had 2 new members join their department, and they also had several of their junior members complete, I believe, their firefighter 1 training. So that's a big deal because it's a lot of hours of training for the junior members to go through. On September 8th, I attended the Parks and Rec meeting. We held it out at the Preserve, and Jay also attended with us as a special guest. One thing that was noted, I'm not sure if it got picked up in your notes though, was that the map and information at the kiosk is inaccurate. It was getting dark, so I didn't get to really check it out. So I'm not sure if maybe the pathways are mowed differently now than originally planned or something. So I don't know who can figure out or how easily you can figure out
It was the
how to
red
make
and,
a map correct.
the red and blue tracks around the reserve were not shown correctly on the map due to the addition of some handicap features that allow people to traverse. Phil actually sent an email to Roger today to get it corrected.
Okay, good. And then I know there was also discussion before, I think it came up again at this meeting about rubber mulch that's used at the different parks. A lot of parents have complaints about that, and one of the members on Parks and Rec noted it, that the kids get really filthy when they're in this. So if anybody can find some sort of substitute for that, that's not as filthy, that would be awesome. And then on September 9th, we had our EAC meeting, and as you mentioned, we're having our electronics recycling coming up on Saturday, September 27th. It's from 9 to 12 here at the Township offices, and then they post a flyer on our website that indicates the different types of items and the cost for each thing. And that's all I have for my reports. Steve, do you have a report?
I do not.
All right. So next we have public comment for agenda or non-agenda items. Anybody wants to come up?
Anna Louder. I just want to address what was said, and Victoria, you totally blew it out of proportion. I was aware of that prior to me coming and sitting before you to ask for the audio speaker. And basically, it wasn't here nor there. I don't really care if you look for problems, look for some kind of ammunition to attack me. I know what I'm doing. So the bottom line is, it really isn't something that's of any importance. You sound like the schoolyard bully. I think you need to tone it down a little bit. Thank you for your time. Oh, one more thing, since I still have 2 minutes. Act 287. I think what you've done is taken away from the officers on the street. You say you support them, you respect them, you admire them. But what you did was you took training away from them. And there is documentation and articles out there that the federal government is paying for it. There are $50,000 sign-ons for these ICE officers. They're looking for police officers to sign on, and they will give them a $50,000 bonus. So yes, the federal government is very involved. So, I mean, why would you do that? Our officers are already involved with these ICE people, with these aliens. If you're allowed in this country and you're a resident, you won't have a problem with the police or ICE. if you came into this country the right way. And that's what should be done. Not. My concern is, these people are in our township. Whether you want to believe it or not, they're in our township. And it's unfortunate. What saddens me is I hope that the children walking back and forth to school have some kind of supervision, because you don't know who they are or where they're at.
Thank you.
Thanks to the Democrats and Joe Biden. Unless they care more about the criminal
Okay,
evidence than
we're
they do
on
about the
public
residents.
comment,
Than
we're
they
not
do about
on
the residents.
Tom's comment.
That's what they do.
We have
They care
other
more about the
public
criminal
comment.
evidence than they do about the residents. Especially this bully right here.
Anne Marie Slavic, Lower Saucon Township. Okay, number one, the landfill. Interesting how Victoria earlier said that she had to go with the solicitor's advice on the Steel Club land project, that she was beholden to him on that advice, and that would be her decision-making process for that project. But the funny part is when he went against the township on the landfill decision, made a decision on his own, or was coerced to do that by the council members in violation of the Sunshine Act, and then we were sued. So his judgment isn't always great. But we can see that there's definitely a political motive on the Steel Club. And I would just say this about the federal government, textbook Democrats in office always want to blame the federal government when they cut funding. That's your typical answer, because you sit there and you do nothing, and you just put your hand out and you want the government to give you money. And probably that's what a lot of Democrats do in their personal lives. We know that's true, but anyway, as you're on council, instead of making an effort and trying to find more taxpayer revenue to come into the township, all you do is sit up there and you say no to everybody. No, 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 no. We don't need your money. We don't need your money, and let's close the landfill. But when the federal government stops funding, because we're tired of paying taxes, so we're happy that the federal government's cutting funding. That's what they should do. That's what we all voted for, the Republicans, by the way. Then you sit there and complain that the federal government's cutting. But you don't complain about, hey, where are all the businesses to come into Lower Saucon, build a building, open a manufacturing plant, open a landfill, and give us some tax revenue. Then you have a problem. Number two, Heller Homestead. Priscilla, give some credit to other people. The Eagle Scout was up here, specifically said that was, the building was a problem, and there were something on the back porch that needed to be fixed. And now you're taking credit for that. You see all the problems with the Heller Homestead building. And you know other people told you that. And actually Cheyenne Ryman was up here last year, and Dee Boulan, and said that the windows were a problem there. But you're taking credit for everybody's work.
She does.
Let's see. You wasted money, $41,000 on a study for the Heller Homestead barn. So there's your wasting money, Victoria. Let's see. Victoria, your friends get up and they talk about all the names that you're being called at these meetings. So don't worry, somebody is recording that and they're repeating it over and over again. In fact, I'm surprised she didn't come up here and say it already. And also, that's being put in the morning call as well. So all the name calling, all the name calling is being recorded. I guess that's it. I would be careful of the township council candidate that comes up here and maybe makes comments on Facebook about people being murdered and how he should have been murdered, but.
I have more people waiting to talk.
I know.
Yep.
And
Okay.
I just want to make the comment that
You've gone over it.
careful of the township council candidates that are speaking against ICE. Because one of the problems is it's not just an issue with crime, it's also a resource drain on our community. And What is the definition, everybody, of law
I
enforcement?
need to.
What's the definition of law enforcement?
Robert, can you sit down, please?
Always trying to
See,
show
it's like people
anybody with
being
opposing views.
disrespectful.
They're
It's
always
very
they're
hard
always
to
trying to
control
shut people up with
disrespect.
opposing
I
views.
understand that, I
They're
understand.
always trying to shut people
I
up.
just want to make sure you all know the definition of law enforcement.
Okay.
That's enforcing the law.
Yeah.
You might not like it, but that's what they're supposed to do.
You.
It's a federal crime. Those people committed a federal crime. Therefore, federal officers will come into our community and take action, and they should.
Okay.
And we should support them.
That's right. We should support them.
Ma'am.
Just make sure you got your, Diane Holloway, your passport, so you can show. Illegal aliens, yes, that's a problem, but there's a bigger problem in the United States. There's 340 million Americans. According to our president, 3 million people last year died from drugs. That's what our police need to be working on. I'm glad I'm one of the 47 million that are still alive. That's where we need to put our money. And as far as the minutes too, I don't look at them online, but does it have everything like the fuck you and all of that? Is that in the minutes?
Can you get control of the meeting? Is there a code of conduct
Like
for this?
tonight, we just got you're an idiot, disgusting, loathe person, shut your big mouth, goddamn liar. Like, is that put in the minutes? That's what I want to know. I'll have to look online, I haven't really read them.
Word anymore, it is, because it's too long, too much. It's on the tape.
All right, what's another thing here? I asked last time we did get statistics on the library that I think Karochi forgot to read his email, but I asked about statistics on the ball field. I actually had my neighbors ask me, who goes out there to play? Do we have any statistics on that? Can we at the next meeting, I suggest, who's in charge of that? Who's actually playing there? How much usage are my tax dollars, getting out of
I
that?
paid attention, it's not being used at all because it's actually being repaired right now, right, Jay?
Seriously, $4 million on a ball field and now it's getting repaired?
When you get something built, you have a punch list and there's somebody that goes in and does the things that.
How much more, can we have then, at the next meeting, how much money is actually going towards
$0.
that?
It's part of the original contract.
There is no money going towards it because it's part of a maintenance agreement.
So like nobody's using it, it's just idle there, idle.
Love it.
I did not appreciate Karochi calling me a hollow head. I might have to get a police escort to my car. I kind of felt threatened with that. I will probably go file another report as I did with Bononis. And I
What did you
think
file
that's
about
it. I filed a report on you.
When? I didn't hear about it. I can't wait to hear about it. Yeah, I can't wait. It's
Do we
great.
have other public comment?
That's when you threatened to sue me.
Trying to sue you? Yeah. You know,
Okay,
stop lying.
I don't think there's any
all right, I see no more public comments, so I will adjourn the meeting. The time is 10:05.
Not my first rodeo.
We have a whole court case in the middle.